Yo, this is Damage Per Second Podcast. That's DPS Podcast, episode 221. And we are here talking about trees damaging our vehicles out here in the back room. Unfortunately, my family's good. Everyone is safe. But and thank God for that. But
or fortunately?
I meant look. Fortunately, I don't want like my family to die, right?
That's what I thought you said. Unfortunately, they're okay.
Well, the way I meant to say is that unfortunately our vehicle is severely damaged. Hopefully, it doesn't get totaled because,
man,
yeah, we like that SUV.
Yeah, man, and plus ain't nobody trying to buy no brand new cars.
Yeah, not right now. Good grief, the economy's awful.
Yeah,
but fortunately. Everyone is safe. Unfortunately, the vehicle got, when a huge tree branch as thick as an actual tree just falls on your vehicle. It's just, so that's been a heck of a day, unfortunately, but we got a lot to talk. We don't have a ton of topics, but in the topics that we have, we got
you talk about the subtopics inside of the topics?
No, there's only two rapid fires. Don't worry about that. It's just this last topic is going to be a doozy because there seems to be a lot of angry people out here. Shout out to Spider13. Shout out to Game Logic in the chat. What's up, bro? And shout out to our special guest. It's been a minute since I heard from this man. Mr. Eric Jackson in the house. What's up, man? How's it going, bro?
It's going, man. It's going. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been too long, actually, man. But
right.
Obviously, life is crazy from what you've been telling us, man. So you just put that on top of the pile of all the other craziness that's been going on, But no, it's good to be here with you guys, man. Shout out Forte. What's going on, brother?
Oh man, I missed you, man. As soon as he told me you was coming on the show, I was like, oh man, let's go. I haven't seen that man or heard that man's voice in almost a year. It feels like.
Yeah, man. I've been kind of just laying low, for the most part, man. Just through the holidays, it's just craziness, man. My father-in-law was in the hospital for 2 months, and
right.
We thought we were gonna lose him again. We told him, as he got better, he went through rehab, he's back home and everything. But we said, dude, I don't know what it is with you in the holidays, but you like to check out on us because the year prior he was in the hospital for about a month. Completely different issue, and he went in 2 days before Thanksgiving, and he didn't come home until I want to say end of January. Just major stuff going on. So that kind of just had me back and forth with my wife, going to the hospital every day with my mother-in-law and everything, getting him through all that stuff, and then everything else that's going on, in the world. It's just it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Yeah.
But it's good to be here with you guys.
You've been playing any games? You've been playing any games?
Starting to catch up finally, because that wasn't in the forefront, with everything going on. I would dabble here and there and kind of play stuff, but my head just wasn't in it. So I kind of just took a break from everything. Social media, for the most part, I wasn't really posting much and checking things. And so I'm finally getting back in. I recently platinumed Stellar Blade. So getting back on the horse with that. And now I've been playing RoboCop.
Nice.
City.
Oh yeah. I heard that RoboCop was good. Yeah,
it is.
It's still pretty good too. I hear.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. But it's definitely got that vibe that
coming with me.
7th generation vibe. You know what I'm saying? Gaming, kind of cheesy, kind of corny. But that's RoboCop in general. but no, it's real good. It's real fun. I'm enjoying it. But I'm trying to get back in the swing of gaming, man. I'm gonna jump on South at midnight as soon as I'm done with RoboCop. So yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I know how that family stuff is because, my mom, I was and she's healthy and stuff, but my mom is in the Virgin Islands in St. Thomas, so I called her the other day, and she was coughing on the phone and stuff. I'm like, "You okay? You about to?" I said, "What's going on?" And it's and it was nothing. It was just the fact that I ain't there, so I can't just see her physically, see how she's doing. But then she been calling me like every day, like I'm okay, checking in, just making sure this, had a dry cough and everything. My mom is, I believe, she's 67 now. No, she ain't that old. Good God, 63. But it's still a simple fact that, man, when your family is everything, and especially since I don't live even in the same continent as my mom, it's like, I gotta take a trip to go see her. That's the
right.
So if something's go down, I'm like, man, I don't know what would happen. So I'm very, very aware of like making sure I check in all the time. And like I said, she works in the hospital. She's she's like the head nurse in the hospital and stuff. So I know she's gonna be in good hands. But it's still that worrisome part of your life where you're just like, man, I just I don't know what I would do. So my heart goes out to you and your family for everything that you guys are going through, and hopefully this year is better.
Yeah, man.
In the chat, Game Logic had a question. I guess this is for Eric. He said, "Are you playing on the Steam Deck?"
No, I'm actually playing on PS5.
PS5, okay.
Playing on a superior system for games.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's what
Why you say woo like
Forte
that?
being spicy. You being spicy today, man.
Oh, I'm just saying stuff.
I wonder how spicy you want to be later on, because we did a live stream yesterday in regards to a reaction on the Switch 2 reveal and all the details of it, and I don't know what was more interesting, what they showed during the reveal or all the information that came out afterwards. But we're going to get into all of that because it's a lot to get into.
Listen.
Oh, boy.
Listen.
Here
Don't
comes
listen
Yoshi.
don't listen to what Forte says all the time. We know where his allegiance lies at. He's been, he didn't talk that talk,
Yoshi.
walk that walk, and everything.
Yoshi,
and guess what? Yes, go ahead, sir.
Hold on, Yoshi. You are an employee of Nintendo, so I will have to say that you are a bit biased in this conversation, right?
Well,
yeah,
listen,
you know what that means, right? You know what bias means. I know you never went to school, Yoshi.
Nintendo pays me in coins. Listen, every game I'm in, I collect coins. Every game. Too bad that they took away the coin method when you buy games and you can't, use the buy games on the Switch anymore. But still,
Nintendo.
But still, I just want everybody to be respectful. Nintendo definitely did their thing, and all the controversy that's happening on the back end has nothing to do with what we're doing. It's what everybody's perceived notion of what they think of what we're doing.
Okay, you know what, Yoshi? How about you just chill for a little bit? We're going to get to the topic of your company and y'all tomfoolery later on. Let's bring Forte back in and let Forte tell us what he been doing this week besides trying to keep you away from the microphone.
Okay, well, Forte, just make sure you don't say nothing stupid. Make sure you're good to go, because I can't cover for you all the time.
Thank you, Yoshi. What's going on, man?
Lord have mercy. Forte, what you been playing, bro?
I played a little bit of Midnight Suns. Jesus Christ. South of Midnight. I did that a lot over the course of this week.
Midnight.
Yeah, wrong midnight.
Wrong midnight.
And listen, it's been a lot of sleep deprivation over the course of the last 4 or 5 days. Just that Monster Hunter a little bit, NCAA football. But the really big thing I've been doing, and I'm actually doing it as we're doing this podcast. I have I don't know if you've seen it. I have gotten a Pokemon bug. It is bad.
Oh, man.
Bad. So so we got a restock of Journey Together Pokemon cards today at my store. So I bought like $70 worth of it today. And as we're talking right now, I am literally opening these packs to see what I have, because I am in the process of trying to master set the Journey Together set. And if anybody doesn't know what master setting means, it basically means you collect every card that's inside the deck that is pullable from a pack. Like we're not talking about promotional cards or anything like that, because there's a lot of promotional cards out there for it. But anything that could come from an actual pack that you can pull And if you complete the whole set, it's considered a master set. I am about 83% through the deck, and the game the set and the cards came out on March 28th. So I am heavily invested in this right now because it's really cool. I like the artwork. I like some of the Pokemon that are in it. It just kind of leans into like everything that's going on with Nintendo right now. So that's kind of the biggest thing I've been doing. And there's a whole nother, like, dude, I've always wondered what it's like to be a person that like was into Pokemon as much as it is now. I kind of get it. Like, I have customers that I can like really have conversations with about, you know, I had a 30-minute conversation with a lady about doing a master set and showing me all her cards on her phone and everything. And we just talking about her favorite Pokemon and how long she's been collecting cards. It's a whole nother, like, I knew it was already another world, but being a person that actually is like kind of engaged in it, it's pretty awesome, man. So that's kind of what's been taking up a little bit extra of my time. Because Lord knows $90, $80 to $90 games definitely ain't gonna be the move when it comes to like video games in the future for you. You have to like, you know, take a mortgage out. But outside of that, man, I'm just looking forward to going through South of Midnight, finishing that out. I still got Assassin's Creed on the docket. I have that thing on all 3 platforms, so I'm probably gonna play it on PC first, and then kind of do some comparisons to see, you know, what I think about it across everything else. And you know, we're gonna talk about
Shadows.
Yeah, Shadows. I actually really like it. And I guess, and I don't know if you played it, but man, the tease they give you in the beginning of that game and say, "Hey, look, you are the most powerful thing in the universe," and then they just take it away from you. And it's so infuriating, but game's good so far. But
yeah, I love when games do that.
Yeah, I love it too. It's like I love it too. It did until it happens, and then you're like, now I have to play the level up game. so that's kind of all I've been doing this week, and just getting into that stuff, and you know, and having a good time, man. This is probably the best time in gaming right now when a new system comes out. It's getting ready to come out. Because everybody, for the most part, is excited. And really, not too many people don't like Nintendo. Everybody kind of is in the middle with that. It's just kind of the stuff that's going on in the background. But we'll get into that in the end. But SloMo, you asked EJ you asked E what he was doing. You asked me what I was doing. What you been up to, sir, other than cars falling on your wife's car? Trees falling on your wife's car.
Let's see here. So like yourself, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's what's playing in the Jumbotron right now. I do have the wrecking ball that is Yasuke unlocked at this point. I haven't played it too much in the past couple of days because I'm not trying to get fatigued with what I notice where this happens in a lot of Ubisoft games, especially Assassin's Creed games, where you just have too much to do. Like you could go in and go to your like quest or your objectives, and you'll be like seeing all of these like factions you need to take down, all these organizations and their leader and all the lieutenants, and I'm just like, and sometimes randomly you'll just run into somebody and then you kill the guy and you find out he's a member of some organization you don't even know, and they just listed unknown organization. Like, you'll figure it out later. And I'm just like, what? I mean, who is this dude? Like, it's a lot. And so I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the combat. Yasuke and Naoe, I think, are very two good protagonists who very different personalities and engaging stories, each of their own. Naoe is like basically on her Kill Bill quest going on for revenge. Yasuke is very much like your fish out of water, you know, man who is completely different than everyone else and trying to find his place in the world while also just being a real like stand-up dude, you know, that is about integrity and doing the right thing. And so that they're both very different, and they also play very different because now is your traditional assassin, that kind of gameplay. Although, like, you, depending on how good you are with like the combat, you could really kind of go off with her. And Yasuke is just ridiculous. Like, I just showed in the Jumbotron me murdering an entire arena full of samurai. It's pretty amazing what you can do with them, but like they play so different that it's I feel bad for those who don't really engage with both play styles. They just really like one or the other, because I enjoy both, and I use them both pretty equally. There are some quests where you need one or the other, but for the most part, you can do like complete these missions with either one, and how you complete them is very different depending on their skill set. Like, I could clear a castle with Naoe, and the way I would do that, instead of just running in and fighting everyone straight up, I'm taking down a lot of enemies quietly to kind of whittle away the numbers, and then I'll go loud and be like, hey, I'm over here, let's do this. And it's like, 5 people left, 5 or 6 people left, compared to like, a dozen, you all trying to rush me all at once. And if I'm Yasuke, I'm just running through the door, running through walls. Like, I'm just running up and chopping people in half. And it's good fun. So I've been playing.
And you can jump back and forth between them, like, as far as like on the fly?
Mm-hmm. On the fly, okay. Yeah. There is a little bit of a load screen in between, but the other one will be right there in the same spot that you were previously when you bring them in. So it's really just all about how you want to tackle the objective and the situations that you're in, which is good.
So they kind of tap back into that syndicate style.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say I'm not a big Assassin's Creed fan, mostly because I'm not much into stealth, so I didn't quite enjoy. I played Assassin's Creed 1, and I didn't play 2 or 3, and I didn't really care to. I did play Odyssey, and I played Valhalla, and I thought it was just way too much stuff in the world, and I didn't think the combat was all that great. This, to me, and I'm not like any kind of Assassin's Creed expert, but I feel the combat in this game is the best in the series, and and that's just my personal opinion, because I enjoy it so much that I'm still playing. This is probably the longest I've played an Assassin's Creed game. I'm about 30 hours in, so, and I don't think I'm anywhere near finishing it. So
I was curious about this one. I was curious about it, like if it was going to have like sort of the bloat that Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla kind of were known for, because I was a huge
some of it's there, but it's not as bad as the other games. And also with the Ubisoft towers kind of secret, you go to a tower and then it activates, and then you see all the stuff around you that you can do, and it's all really repetitive stuff. With Shadows, you go up to these landmark points, these high points, but you actually have to when you get to the watchtower, you actually have to manually look at everything around you, and then they don't even tell you what's there. So you really actually have to go to the location after you reveal it to see what's out there. So it kind of, and it encourages you to explore, and it's not necessary that you have to do it, but it's probably beneficial for you to do it, because those watchtowers are also your fast travel points. So as you go around the world and you're doing certain quests and you need to get to certain locations and stuff, it's easier to do that if you've already unlocked a watchtower near that location, instead of you just having to jump on your horse and spend the next 5 minutes trying to run there, and then running into all kinds of stuff that may happen, ambushes, all kind of foolishness and all that stuff. So, but yeah, Shadows is cool. I've been playing some more Call of Duty. Played a little bit of it with Forte the other night. The new season has started yesterday, and all I did was just go in and get the battle pass. I had enough COD points to buy it with in-game currency. So I figure why not? Although I didn't get a chance to play it. So I don't know, maybe I'll play it tonight, maybe I'll play it tomorrow, we'll see. But COD's COD, you know, if you're liking it, you're liking it. If you're not, you're not.
Did they really add Jay and Silent Bob to it?
Said if you're not liking it.
Say what?
I said, did they really add Jay and Silent Bob to Call of Duty?
Yes, they did. Yeah. There's a
okay.
They actually made them look. So I've always said this about Call of Duty. When they do their like when they add famous men in the game, it looks just like them. Like with Modern Warfare 3, I had the skin for Paul Atreides from Dune. Looks just like Timothy Chalamet, whatever his name is. Looks just like the actor. Snoop looks just like him when they add Snoop every year. Every fame like Rick Grimes from the Walking Dead look just like Rick Grimes. But when they add women is when you're like, I don't know. I mean, you say that's Nicki Minaj.
Right.
But is that I only believe that's Nicki Minaj because you said so.
You said it's Nicki Minaj. I remember watching people running around as Nicki Minaj. I was like, who? And I said, who's this big booty girl running around? Someone said, that's Nicki Minaj. I said, that ain't look like no Nicki Minaj.
Right. I bought the Lara Croft skin from Modern Warfare 2 a couple years ago. And it's like, the only reason why you really know is Lara Croft is that she's holding 2 pistols. She got the cargo booty shorts on and the tank top. It's just because she's dressed like Lara Croft. The face, they literally took this Hispanic character's face from the campaign, made slight alterations, and gave her Lara Croft hair. I was like, come on, bro. Like, yeah, I don't understand. Is there something going on with your artist? Is the game engine? I don't know what it is, but y'all can't do women correctly for some reason. It's always bad. And but they had the Ninja Turtles last season. They had the Ninja Turtles who look amazing in it, and they had the what is the name of that Netflix show?
Stranger Things. Oh, you talking about
You about to say Stranger Things. I'm about to say Hunger Games.
No,
Squid Game. Yeah.
Mm.
So like the Squid Game characters are in.
They probably should have
in there.
in there. That would be all. That pretty interesting.
I don't know.
They did.
But I mean, those were fine. But it's just like typically like all the other skins that come with the battle pass and like stuff that's in the store, it's not as good as previous years. There's not much reason for me to buy unless it's something like really good. But I did start South of Midnight today. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to play it as much as I would like to due to all the craziness that happened today. But I'll get into more of it over the weekend. Maybe I'll stream it this weekend. We'll see. And also, I am closing in on beating Mass Effect 1 Legendary Edition with my Renegade playthrough. I cannot wait. Because when I stream Mass Effect 2, I'm telling you, 1000% Renegade. We are killing everybody. We are no mercy. Kicking mercs through windows, punching reporters in the face on camera, on live. I'm shooting people in the back of their head and spitting on their bodies. We doing all of it. It's going to be fun. Good fun. Right. Yeah, I always love going Renegade and Mass Effect. And I'm not doing the plastic surgery to fix my face, so I'm gonna look like the Terminator the whole time. I like the skin peeling, looking scary as all get out, and Miranda Lawson's still gonna be all over me. It's gonna be great. So look out for that stream when it's coming. When I finish Mass Effect 1. But I think that's about it really. But what I've been playing. You guys ready for the rapid fires? We ready for it?
Right.
All right. Rapid fire topic number 1. The Last of Us Part 2 released on PC today. Its peak concurrent players on Steam so far is 23,000 players. It has a Metacritic score of 87 with just 17 reviews. And the general sentiment from the reviews that I've seen, as well as the Digital Foundry tech analysis of it, is that it's a better launch than what they did with The Last of Us Part 1. But it is kind of plagued with frame pacing issues and very much like really heavy CPU usage, which shouldn't be necessary for the kind of game that it is. So there are still problems present, but it is day one, you know, for certain those things that get patched. But I guess my question for both of you now, because you know, Eric is not just a console gamer, he got a Steam Deck as well. Are you guys going to play this on PC? And I'll ask this to you, Forte, first. You gonna play this on PC, man?
Nope. I'm good.
Nope. You good?
I'm good. I'm not, because it was on my bingo card, but there is way too many other games out there that I know I'm going to be buying and picking up this year. And I have to be a lot more selective in what I buy. Thank God Game Pass is one thing, and I don't have to worry about buying Xbox games because I can just play them through that. I just have my subscription. But the only reason I would buy this is mostly do the PC thing. I have a 4090. I turn it on, see how great it looks, how good it looks, and part of me kind of wants to play it to like just see the animations and stuff again, because that's like the best part of that game is like when you go in and you're, you know, the things you can pull off,
masterclass and animations and
man,
yeah, and just a technical marvel, really.
Yeah,
what the game was on PlayStation. If you look at what Digital Foundry said, there are some like visual settings that are either glitched or just, I don't know if the game, look, because this is kind of similar to what they did with Part 1, where they released Part 1 when The Last of Us TV show on HBO released.
And the new
and it was clearly incomplete. And so you definitely see that Sony was trying to take advantage of the TV show to kind of, you know, get more sales out of its I think they're kind of doing the same thing because, you know, the TV show comes back this month.
Yep, sure does.
Right.
So it looks like it's in a better place than it was with Part 1, but
how much better?
It still probably could have used a little bit more time.
Yeah. It's definitely something that at some point that I just don't see what is the price of it? Is it 60 or is it like $49?
It's $60.
So that means
$60, I think.
So you could probably find it for 49 or 52 on PC somewhere right now. Maybe
like Green Man Gaming or something like that.
Yeah, I can see myself picking it up at some point, maybe when it's like 30, $40 or something. It's just I can tell you right now, with the fact that Switch 2 comes out in literally a month and a half, 2 months, well, just over 2 months. All the games I know I got to buy for that because I got to buy extra Joy-Cons and everything too. I got like $700-800 tied up just in that alone. And as much as I do want to play this, as much as I want to buy it just to, you know, check it out on PC and everything.
Okay, correction. GameLog just says it's $50. Okay,
that's even better. But still, that's $50. That's half the price of Mario Kart almost. So
half the price.
I gotta save my money. I gotta save my money.
The Last of Us Part 2 is half the price of freaking Mario Kart, man.
So I gotta save money, man. That's just how it is right now. Everybody we ain't all Game Logics out here with GPU stacked up in a corner of our house like we run a store. So you know, that's just how it is right now. But I'll definitely try it at some point. It's just not gonna be a thing that I'm gonna, you know, get day one.
Got you. Eric. Yeah. Are you gonna try some Last of Us Part 2 on your Steam Deck? What's going on?
No, I probably won't. If I had a full on rig, I might do that. But I have the PS5 version, so I think that will be comparable, you know, or whatever to the Steam Deck version of it. Mm-hmm. So
I actually think probably the PS5 version is probably better than the Steam Deck version. I think. Yeah. So that's so if I'm gonna rock on it, because you could at least play at 60 easily on PS5.
Yeah. So no, I probably won't do that. Just with the Steam Deck. Like I said, I'd probably be tempted if I had, like a full-on rig. But for the most part, like Forte said, it's also that thing of time. I'm, catching up on other games. I got so many other games I'm trying to like get to, and and just being aware of the other things that are coming. So that's not a high priority for me, especially for a game I've already played through and everything, even though I love The Last of Us 2, but yeah, if I'm really looking to rock on, I just rock on the PS5.
Got you. For myself, I want to play this because although I had my misgivings with The Last of Us Part 2's story, I really, really, really enjoyed the combat. Like, I really enjoyed the combat.
That combat is
game.
So good, man.
Oh, yeah. Like the way they improved it so much more. The combat wasn't bad in Part 1, but it was just kind of like the story was so much better than what the combat was. The combat was just okay. It wasn't in the way. It didn't detract from it. But the combat to me in Part 2 is really like the highlight of the game, and I kind of just want to get back into that, and play it with better frame rates and better visuals and all the film grain that I had to deal with on PS4 when I played it the first time. So I'll get it eventually. It being $50 MSRP is cool because by the time I get around to playing it, probably not like right now, maybe another month or two, once some of these games are that I'm looking forward to, like Exhibition 33 that comes out later this month, playing South of Midnight. Once I knock those games out, I may jump on it at that point. But again, I need to beat AC Shadows, which is a monster. So I'll get to it eventually. And by the time I do get to it, there'll be sales. It'll be like half price by then, which would be dope. So cool. Rapid fire topic number 2. GTA 6's marketing will be kept closer to launch to generate more excitement, according to Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick. Which means we may be waiting for quite a while to get the release dates on games intended to launch later this year. Because there's a lot of publishers and developers that's waiting to see what GTA going to do before they do what they're going to do. They're trying to avoid the smoke. But if Take-Two,
and that's why Take-Two is doing it like that. They just want to keep trolling like other developers and stuff. Like,
yeah, look, the only publisher that has released at this point all the release dates for their 2025 lineup is Take-Two, and it's because they know what the date is for GTA 6. So yeah, Borderlands, we got the date for that. WWE, we got the date for that. Civilization, we got that date. Judas and all the other games we got releasing, we got the dates for all that stuff because we know when GTA 6 is going to drop. And if anything, you could probably look at their entire launch window for this year and say, well, where's the gap? Is there like a big 3-month gap somewhere in their release schedule? And you can say, all right, well, GTA is probably somewhere in here, somewhere between like September to November. Maybe that's GTA 6, right? So you may want to just like try to avoid that time period, but it's pretty interesting. My question to you guys, and let's start with you, Eric. When do you think GTA 6 drops?
I'm starting to think it might be probably like early middle fall, like not holiday. I don't think they would drop in the holiday, but I think they probably want to try to like lock down and hold down that fall area. Like. And then kind of like lead it into like Thanksgiving, time when people will be home and rocking on that game and stuff like that. But I can see them kind of maybe, if I had to pick a month,
Eric in the chat says late October. You think late October will work? Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe like late August, September, but maybe October.
Late August, September. Yeah. Well, if I recall correctly, Borderlands, let me double check it, because I think Borderlands 4 is August. It is.
Oh, yeah. So maybe not then.
Wait.
Well, that don't matter. Does that matter? That don't matter to GTA. Borderlands.
But they're not going.
Well, they're not
going
going to want to cannibalize their game. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's Take Two. You're right. That's right. They're not. It's coming out October 24th, bro.
So Borderlands 4?
No. Grand Theft Auto, October 24th.
Why do you have an exact date?
You was gonna ask me when I think. I just said October 24th.
You know, in light
Yes, you put
of
a date on it.
in light of some of your predictions recently, sir, did you just reveal the actual date? Because Eric, you know, Forte been doing this thing.
Do you really think that I actually know the release date?
No, I'm gonna tell him what you've been doing.
Okay,
so Forte been pretending like he don't know things, and then he just be like, "Well, you know, I just think the Switch 2's price is gonna be $450." It's just it turned out that's what it was. What was the other prediction that you was like, "Oh, I just think it's just gonna be this," and it turned out to be exactly. He's been doing this lately.
PlayStation 5 Pro was gonna be $700.
Right. He just knows the price of things.
And I
manager.
And I also
in the GameStop just knowing these things and pretending like, oh, it was just.
Well, listen,
you just lying.
Listen, I also told you it was if it's one system, it's gonna be $449. If they do a SKU that comes with Mario Kart, it's gonna be $500.
So October 24th.
October 24th. That's the day I'm putting down.
All right, guys. All right, DPS
somebody clip
lock
this.
Lock it in.
Clip this. Forte says GTA 6 is dropping October 24th. Let me see what kind of day, what day is that? Let me look at my calendar.
It's a Friday.
How do you know that right off the rip?
I just know it's a Friday. Ooh,
Who told you this?
Just go on with the show.
Who at GameStop told you this? Was it like a higher up?
You think wait, you think somebody at GameStop actually knows the release date of Grand Theft Auto, one of the most guarded secrets in the industry?
If it wasn't GameStop, then who was it? Because you seem to just be like, why are you just like it's a Friday?
It is a Friday.
I'm trying to look it up on the calendar. You know exactly that. You know what? Okay. Y'all clip that.
It's gonna be October 24th.
Now, if this guess comes true and they put out a trailer that says coming October 24th, 2025, SloMo's gonna be like, what in the world's going on?
Oh, I know what's going on. I already told you what's going on. You out here withholding information. Eric, every time I hear something, I'll be like, you know what? I'm sworn to secrecy. But I'm gonna tell my homie Forte. Cause I know he gonna keep the secret. I tell him all kinds of stuff. He be like, what? Really? And this man just be withholding on me. He just be knowing everything. Just
I
like,
don't be knowing anything.
Not telling SloMo.
I don't know nothing. I just use reason and deduction to figure out what's going on.
Stop it. Whatever. Anyway, let's move on to our last rapid fire topic.
Something tells me Forte already has the in-store promo packaging and everything.
Exactly.
Wait.
Got the date on it and everything. Probably know what the pre-order bonuses are. What's the pre-order bonus? Like a GAT? You know, wait, is it an animation?
Like like a real Glock.
June 16th, 2025. That's the day that you're going to find out the release date.
Okay, look. You need to stop.
Forte, you have to be careful with this too, because you have trigger happy content creators who like to do breaking news and like to run with stuff.
What they gonna do? They go put an article that GameStop gonna say what? We don't know anything. So how does he know?
Maybe I can see it now. On the games media sites get our podcast wrong, like
this is my opinion. Listen, this is a educated guess on the fact that GTA is going to get its release date announced on June 16th, 2025, with an actual release date of October 24th, 2025.
co-host from GPS podcast.
GPS.
Gaming Forte, who just so happens to be a GameStop manager, leaks all the GTA 6 info. We just be like, oh god, they always get the podcast
They said
wrong.
they're gonna say this podcast. They're gonna say this pod, and then they're gonna be like how they do Rand when it comes to the Xbox 2 podcast, where they don't even mention Rand's name in it. They're gonna say Jez of the Xbox 2 podcast. Jez on his Xbox 2 podcast.
All by himself.
All by
with
himself.
No one else there.
No, it's not another person on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that'd be
talking
funny.
to himself.
Basically,
just so happened to release this information.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Randy Jez. Okay, so last rapid fire topic. Back to GTA. Actually, GTA 5, the enhanced edition, is coming to Game Pass, and that'll be on Game Pass for Xbox and the PC Game Pass on April 15th. Something that, and I think it's kind of notable considering, even though it's not at launch, clearly, because the game came out, before my kids were born. But GTA 5 is
that's crazy.
Again, I think this is the first time it's ever been on Game Pass, and the CEO Zelnick has been pretty vocal in how he doesn't feel Game Pass does his games in any benefits whatsoever. I do wonder if this is more of just a test of things, just to kind of see exactly how it would kind of changes the numbers for their older game, just to kind of give them a little bit more extra data as they go into their release for GTA 6. This definitely isn't any indication that GTA 6 would be launching on Game Pass day one. Like, you would have to be out of your mind you have to be high on that blue crystal meth that Walter White used to make in order to come to that conclusion. But it's always pretty interesting.
It could be. Yeah, I think it. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think maybe it's like a primer, like so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, this game has been out since before your kids were born, and probably some of your listeners and everything else, right? It's sort of like that primer of getting people, hey, if you have not purchased a copy, I don't know who's left at this point. It'll be in Game Pass. You can rock with it and then be ready for GTA 6. And it'd be interesting and telling, like if it shows up in like PS Plus, like one of their months.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, because why not, right? Why not get data?
Because again, I don't know who doesn't own it at this point.
Yeah, because if you kind of think about it, right? If you put it in Game Pass, you got like 25, I don't know, with 30 million Game Pass subscribers. You look at like how those numbers adjust from what your current numbers are to what you do in there, and it might help you get more data on the amount of interest that GTA 6 is going to generate for that specific platform when it does come out later this year. And you could do the same thing for PlayStation, put it in PS Plus, see what it does there, and then it kind of gives you more data points to work with when it comes to exactly like when it comes to, for example, GTA 6 online, because a lot of these live service platforms is that initially they kind of misconfigure exactly how much capacity they really need for the level of demand. This could kind of help them figure out exactly what they need, because I don't think they're going to do a beta, which most live service games do a beta or some kind of early access, technical tests, whatever, to kind of make sure they can work those kinks out. Rockstar last time when they dropped GTA 5's online didn't do that, and the launch was the freaking disaster until they got themselves together. I just can't see them. They seem very counter to those kind of things that you see other developers do when it comes to doing tests ahead of time. And so I think they will probably just kind of lean on more data in order to figure out what they might need, which will still end up being kinks need to get worked out, because there's a lot of unforeseen things that may happen where instead of you got QA testers, which may be a couple hundred people, once the game launches, your QA testers are the millions of people who are playing it, and they're going to have way more opportunities to find bugs, issues, performance problems, all that stuff. So yeah, I think it's more about them trying to come up with a better way to make sure that GTA 6's launches is as smooth as possible than any kind of indication about how they feel about Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you guys want to say about that before we move on to the main topic?
Nope, let's go.
Forte? All right. First main topic of the night. South of Midnight reviews came out. They dropped today, and South of Midnight is available in early access. I did get a key. Shout out to Black Viking who provided that for me. Appreciate that from him. Got a key for early access, and I only really just played the beginning. I didn't really get a chance to play much else, so I don't really have much of an opinion on it quite yet. But South of Midnight currently sits at a 78 Metacritic with 78 total reviews for PC and Xbox. Many of the reviews complained about repetitive combat, but from people who I know actually got a review key and reviewed it personally, I saw many of them give praise to the story. A very like black centric kind of story. For that sounds weird. Black centric, a story that black people can appreciate. That sounds better. They praise the sound design and they like the art direction and visuals that it had, but even they were somewhat disappointed with the final boss fight and found the combat can get repetitive with not too many different like enemy types to kind of fight against. So let me start with you, Forte, because you said you've played a little bit of it. You probably played further than I have, so at this point, what are your thoughts on South of Midnight?
I was literally muted and I was talking. I kind of get what people are saying about repetitive gameplay a little bit. I can't speak to the end because I'm like nowhere near it. But the diversity or variety in bosses or just enemies in general, I haven't gotten to the point where it's gotten stale for me because I'm still pretty early. But if it doesn't,
hey, real quick, just want to do a correction. Rodimus in the chat said this will actually be the third time that GTA 5 has been in Game Pass. It was in 2020, 2023, and then this month as well. Okay, cool. All right, thank you for the correction, Rodimus.
Rodimus can't wait to correct you.
I know, right?
Actually, it's been the third time that's been there. They love Game Pass.
Why you making him sound like that?
I know he don't sound nothing like that, but it just making him sound even nerdier.
You made him sound like Elmer.
It's a personal satisfaction for me.
Yeah, you made him sound like Elmer Fudd or something. That's like Elmer.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, but I think I can see if it does continue down the road that it's on right now, where it can get repetitive and stuff. But I'm having a blast with it right now with the combat and everything. Just the story in general is really, really, really interesting and cool so far. Like I said, I'm only like probably 4 hours in. Everybody I talked to said it's anywhere from 12 to 15 hours, depending on all the stuff that you kind of do throughout the game. I instantly turned that stop motion off because it was making me sick.
Yeah, I did it in the as soon as I got control of the main character Hazel. I was like, yeah, just moving her a little bit. I was like, oh,
I was like, yeah, no, this got to go.
I think when you play it on PC with much higher frame rates, that it becomes more pronounced, I guess. And so like for me, it was more jarring. And even after I turned it off, I feel like it's all for her, but it's not all for like the other NPCs that you see. So like her mother, some of her neighbors and I'm very early on, so I haven't seen too much. But after I turned it off, I still felt like the lip sync and some of the movements were still kind of like a little stop motion, but not like full on, you know. So it just still looked a little stilted, a little weird. But my bad. Continue, man. Forte.
Jesus Christ, I muted myself again. I kind of trying to get this etiquette down where if I'm not talking, I mute so people don't hear me in the background. I've been doing that for a while. I just got to remember to unmute myself when I start talking. But
yeah, I got you.
But no, I think in general the game is fun, and you know everybody's going to have a different experience with it, especially when it comes to the overall plot and narrative of the game. It's gonna hit differently for different people. It's going to hit different for different ethnic groups and everything. So I think in general, it's well done up until this point. I'm definitely liking what I played so far, and it's definitely egging me on to kind of finish it. And then everybody's reviews, they did really good jobs on them and stuff, like really detailed and everything like that. I just, you know, at this point now, I just want to experience it for myself so I could kind of, you know, refer back to what people were saying by the time I'm finished with it, which would probably be by the end of this weekend. But I'm enjoying it so far, and can't wait for other people to get a chance to play it too.
Cool. Eric, are you going to play South of Midnight? Have you have any interest in this one?
Eric been playing it for 6 weeks already. You know how, you know, he like B. He just like B. How B be knowing everything, Eric be playing everything early.
I wish that was the case, man. but no, man, I've been like highly anticipating, highly interested in this game from the moment they announced it. Because I actually felt like when Microsoft kind of did their initial acquisitions and they grabbed Compulsion, obviously I was, you know, excited that they grabbed Ninja Theory. I said, that's a studio with a lot of potential that just needs that shoring up, that funding. And I felt the same way about Compulsion. It kind of felt like Compulsion would be sort of a dark horse studio for them, given the opportunity to kind of work on something without having to worry about finance and or whatever the case may be. So when they showed that initial concept, I was like, wow, like, you know, they talked about deep Southern like lore and dealing with stuff like that. And I was like, that's a concept I've really not seen anybody kind of tackle. So yeah, I've been like definitely high on it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. I didn't grab the early access or anything like that as of yet because I'm trying to wrap up RoboCop. But yeah, that's next in the lineup for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I'll say this for visually, I love unique art styles in games because I feel like they last longer. As far as not looking dated as time goes on, than more traditional attempting to be ultra realistic kind of art directions that you see. For those kind of games, they look great when they first come out, but then when you see other games later on attempt the same thing and do it better because technology is better, game engines are better, and so on and so forth, you look back at those games, you go, oh, but dang, that don't look that good no more. And so, but when you have unique art styles or like games that do like cell shading, like Borderlands, even they do texture updates over time. You look at like Borderlands 2 and it still doesn't look as bad as other games of that time period because of the art direction. And I say that to say that about South of Midnight. It has a very unique art style that really kind of harkens to a lot of actual like artists that draw ethnic characters as well. And I think that's going to do well for it over time. Years and years from now, it will still look and provide the kind of look or aesthetic that people like from it right now. Like when we're talking about next generation. You know, I think that's good for it. Shout out to Arcade with the $5 super chat. I did start a little campaign thing. I forgot that's there, and I also forgot the BI super chat. So my bad on that. But 5 super chats of $5 or more, and that'll guarantee a live stream in the next couple of days or so. So that's I just put that in there real quick. Shout out to Arcade for doing the super chat. You can say something too, man. You gonna spend $5? You might as well say something. You know, we'll get Yoshi to say it. So you know.
Oh Lord.
But a pet peeve I have on PC right now, and I noticed this in quite a few games. I first started seeing it with Final Fantasy 16's port, where the cutscenes are in 30 FPS, and it's annoying. And also, who else did that recently? I was just playing these. Yeah, the Assassin's Creed Shadows does that. 30 FPS in the cutscenes. And that's also present in South of Midnight. And the reason why it's problematic for me is that, like, when you play with really high frame rates, I have a 4080 Super. I think it was True Bleed in the chat that asked about performance. Performance so far for me has been great. I don't see any shader cache compilation, and this is an Unreal Engine game, which is shocking, right? Because they typically have a shader cache compilation issue. I didn't see any texture pop in or any just general like traversal stutter, which I'm still pretty early in the game, so maybe there is there, and I just haven't seen it yet. But performance has been good, but there is this jarring animation that always happens when you go from, say, like a frame rate of like 90 to 100 frames per second, and then it's the game is forcing the frame rate to drop down to 30 in order to do the cutscene. As you get into the cutscene, the visual, the look of it that you get it's like it's more than a stutter. It's like the game just chugs, and then everything visually just gets really bad for like a second, and then it gets itself back together as everything is running at 30 frames per second. And I hate when that happens, because then I have to like find a mod that will unlock the frame rate for cutscenes, and you know, something so basic. I feel like why do these developers keep doing that? I don't get it, but I would prefer they just allow the cutscenes to be unlocked frame rate like the rest of the game, so that we won't have to deal with that. But I mean, so far it's pretty cool. I think, based off of some of the criticisms that I've seen people say about it, I think they're fair in regards to feeling it's repetitive. The ones that kind of say things like I couldn't get into the story. I mean, I haven't played the story, so I can't call cap on that. But what I can say is that whenever I see the same usual suspects always say they can't get into a story, and that story always features a black man, a black woman, someone of color, someone in the LGBT community, or there's content that's in there, it's always a game that the anti-DEI crowd has got their eyes on. And these specific game reviewers never seem to say what those people say explicitly, but they always on brand with disliking the game. I'm just saying, you're not slick. I see you, and I have accurately predicted every single one of them dislike this game. So I ain't gonna get into go any further than that, because these people are smart enough to not outright say why they dislike it. So, but just understand that people see you. Anything else you guys want to say about this before we get into our final topic that will take up like 5 hours of the show?
Yeah, 5 hours of the show. Let's do it. I'm down for a fight.
No, I'm just happy that a game. I'm just happy a game like this exists, and it's just, like what you just touched on is just, it's a shame that it has to, at the same time fall under the scrutiny just based on the subject at hand and the featured melanin, of the game or whatever.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing the same kind of protagonist with the same, look, with the same struggles and the same bland, boring stories. Like they always it's funny how with these kind of games, people get highly critical and nitpicky of things in the environment and the stories and whatnot. But then for these other games, they seem to not have those kind of criticisms. Like it's just interesting that when it comes to the game is a bit different. All of a sudden you gotta, it's just interesting.
Yeah, because they like to throw things out there, like in particular, like when there's female protagonists and it's that. But all of a sudden it's boring. Like the story's so boring. It's like the character's so boring, and it's like you've had generations now of stoic, boring white male protagonists.
Right.
Bearded, no beard, man bun, no man bun, space
don't
ranger, marine. Don't see their face.
The Master Chief
much.
with a helmet on. Says 5 lines the whole game. I love Master Chief. Really? Why?
Yeah.
Like, why do you love the Master Chief so much?
Right.
It makes sense.
But anything else is it's so boring. And like I said, I always found that funny too. Like when you look at a game like Horizon, like you don't have to like Horizon, but I do think people go way hard on a game like Horizon. I'm like, if you literally switch Aloy out and made Aloy a guy, dudes would be jerking themselves off over that game.
Oh, I would say this though, because I am in the Aloy is boring camp.
Which I'm not saying. Look, you can have that argument. I'm not, you know what I'm saying. Right. But I'm like, for again, how many years have you had, the same white protagonist male doing almost the same types of things, not saying much, being boring as hell, but no one has a problem with it. So again, I find it funny how
weird.
people go that route.
I don't know. Did they just like to see, this huge muscle bound white man on the screen? Like, is there something to that? Is there something they need to tell us? Like, you can't look at a woman on screen and control her, but a huge muscle bound dude where you're staring at the back of his head and his man cheeks. This is what you want. This is what you need, right?
It's like
you need to see
that. At home. I feel right at home now.
Right at home.
Right.
It's weird. It's just weird. I mean, they got something they like to tell us, but whatever, right?
I've never had an issue with that. Like, as long as the game is good, the story rocks with it. I'm like, I don't really put much thought into the character. Like, not that I don't think about, but that's not a thing that sticks out to me. Whether they're female, male, black, white, whatever. That's not the first thing that pops in my head, and I find it really weird that people fixate on stuff like that.
Yeah, and like I'm down with things being authentic, right? So if you're gonna have, and something it looks like and I looked at the documentaries, I'm playing the game so far. I'm listening to Hazel and her mother's conversations and how they speak to one another. It feels authentic. It feels right. I'm as long as you do that and then you tell a story that's somewhat engaging, I'm cool. And I don't like it when it's like, say, in I hate to go in on this IP, but Life is Strange, for example, right? Mm-hmm. The first Life is Strange clearly was written by old men trying to figure out what young people sound like.
The minute somebody says hella.
That's
hella cool. It's like,
yes. Oh, this music is hella sweet. I'm like, shut up. Stop talking. I'm just like, that's not how these kids talk. I have a teenager. I know. This is not meant like this is I feel like this is cringe as a 44-year-old man. I'm like, please stop talking. I can't take it. And it's like, if it doesn't feel right, you just be like, but it just always seems weird to me that there's a certain camp of games media that typically always seems to find a problem with games of this type. And I'm not saying South of Midnight's a perfect game to deserve the 10 out of 10. What would I know? I got 15 minutes in the game. Mm-hmm. And I've already said I feel like a lot of the reviews have been somewhat on point with the things that I've heard from people who played it, in addition to what I've played so far. But there's just this particular group that just seems to even for games that they say they love this genre. They love these kind of games. Mm-hmm. And then they see, like the anti-DEI crowd don't like that game, and all of a sudden they don't like it either.
That's true.
Find it interesting. It seems to always be the case. Always. I literally told people, 2 or 3 reviewers who love these kind of games, like South of Midnight, and I said they would dislike it. Just because based off I see them always dislike a game that the anti-DEI crowd has a problem with, and they disliked it. So I just like, hey, look, you ain't slick. You ain't slick. So let's get into good old Nintendo. Good old Nintendo, man. So the Nintendo Switch 2 was officially revealed yesterday. And I said this earlier and I'll say it again. I feel like the information that came out after the reveal was more interesting than the information that was there. But we got the Switch 2 revealed. I would say like the actual device, it's bigger. It's an 8-inch screen. The previous screen, I think, was like 6 or 7 inches for the Switch 1. I think the Joy-Cons have a little bit of a slightly different design. I think it looks dope. Pre-orders go live April 9th, which is next Wednesday. And it's going to be pandemonium as usual. And the actual release date of the Switch 2 is June 5th. They showed a good number of games, about 4 or 5 of them brand new games. And they also went through all the new features of the Switch 2 in comparison to the Switch 1, address some of the issues that the Switch community had with a lack of social features, a lack of infrastructure that the Switch 1 didn't have. For example, game chat was prominently featured in the reveal, and they spent a good amount of time talking about that. Definitely like some Discord vibes there as far as like how the implementation looks. As far as performance goes, good grief. I mean, I don't know if they wanted to show the way game streaming looked. It looked like the frame rate was at 5 FPS. It was, and PS2 graphics. It was pretty bad. Again, this is software, this technology that it can get better over time. You just gotta get the streaming of these things down. We'll see what happens, but the fact that they are attempting it instead of just ignoring what the community wanted is good. They also showed off some games that have been out for a while but missed the Switch 1 due to the Switch 1 being so outdated and unable to run those games, and now those games are there. So we're talking like Elden Ring, we're talking Cyberpunk, and we can get into the pricing of those things and its performance and whatnot. We'll get into that later. But the big reveal outside, it was like 3 big reveals. So you think about this, Mario Kart World, which is probably center in a lot of the big controversies for that. It looks great. It looks like they got an open world vibe going on with it. Definitely looks like this might be like their first big like real live service game. We'll have to see. But there's that. There is Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is a brand new Donkey Kong game that they showed off. And then there is what shocked everyone, a From Software exclusive called the Dust Bloods, which is a Souls-like multiplayer, multiplayer PvPvE game that's exclusive to the Switch 2 coming next year. So let's stop here and discuss this before we get into, because I kind of want to tackle this in sections. I just don't want it to be just like all over the place, just like F you Nintendo pricing, right? Just let's discuss the content that they provided first, and then we can get into the weeds with the other stuff that seems to have everyone upset. Eric, what did you think about the actual content as well as the features that the Switch 2 has and what they showed? Was that good enough for what the Switch 2 or what you expected from the Switch 2?
Yeah, just overall, just about pretty much, because I think the thing with Nintendo is, depending on how you view them, they always kind of seem to be playing a bit of catch up. But I kind of look at it as in terms of they're playing catch up in a way when you compare them to like the other platforms. But at the same time, I feel like they kind of don't care about it. They kind of pick their lane and stay with it because they're kind of playing in a realm of generational like gamers in a way, so they're trying to keep it kid friendly, but at the same time trying to, appease to their base or whatever. So they're not going to go too crazy into the realm of like power and the whole nine like that. They're going to kind of keep it in what they do and what they specialize in and what they're successful at. So based on that, I think it definitely fell in line with being an upgrade to what we know from the Switch, and I've seen people kind of throw out there, and we'll get into it, that it doesn't feel as innovative as what Nintendo does. But I think in a way they may also be trying to be a little bit more cautious because they don't want to create, they don't want to go too far into the weeds of creating like a Wii to Wii U scenario when they don't really need to.
Yeah.
The Switch 2 was successful, so hey, let's just kind of make the Pro Switch that everybody kind of rumored years ago, and it's kind of what this feels like.
Especially in this economy, yeah. People ain't really trying to take a lot of chances.
We're in a place where people didn't anticipate us being, as far as that goes. And again, we'll get into that too. So, yeah, I kind of thought about that too as we were kind of seeing it. I'm like, man, this across the board, this is going to be a really weird place for game developers, hardware developers to kind of be in. And they're hitting it right at a time when everything's kind of blowing up. So it's got to be kind of odd and scary at the same time. So yeah, but that's my thought. Yeah, it pretty much hit on what I thought it would be. Nothing too overly surprising, except for the fact they're kind of addressing, their version of, game chat, which is something people really wanted to see from them. They didn't want to have to go through a cell phone to like pull their friends together, to try to play Mario Kart.
Can I call Cap on one specific thing? And I know people was like, well, SloMo, maybe, because we did a live reaction of it, and I had to call Cap on that whole scenario where the guy is, so they got game chat, right? And they got a microphone on the Switch 2 itself, and the dude is like playing a game,
right?
And it's docked. Actually, they're actually showing. I didn't time this, but they're showing it right now on the jumbotron. Dude, his friend is in the back with a blender making a smoothie. If you gonna tell me the noise cancellation in this Switch 2 is so good that you can't hear the blender, but you're hearing him clearly, Nintendo, shut up. Shut up, Nintendo. You're a liar. That's not working. Right. No, it's not. Now, I'm not saying there isn't technology that's that good. What I'm saying is that even NVIDIA's RTX broadcast isn't that good, where he's almost across the room and you can hear him clearly, but the smoothie and the blender is closer to him than the Switch 2. But yeah, everyone hear him clearly and they don't hear the blender. Shut up, Nintendo. Like, just shut up. Just get y'all out here sounding stupid. Yeah, I don't believe it. I do not believe that works that good. I just don't. Refuse it. I refuse. But
I don't like
Go ahead,
the fact that I don't like the fact that that open, because you might be picking up some stuff that you don't want anybody to hear. You know, it's like,
exactly.
you know,
Look,
what's that clapping sound going on back there?
How about this? Because they got a camera too, right?
Oh
Yep.
man, trying to get a shot
know-
going on.
You know Nintendo ain't gonna be regulating what's going on in these party chats with that camera.
Oh man, that Uno party about to be real.
It's about to be some stuff going on. You might be able to find it on Pornhub. It's going to be a whole section in Pornhub, a Switch 2 game chat.
Remember when
tomfoolery.
Remember when PlayStation 4 came out and the camera, and you could literally look at PlayStation videos of people having sex on the couch? I was like, wow.
Right, and the Sony went swiftly shut that down as quickly as possible. I don't know if Nintendo is going to be as quick on the button with that to stop that kind of stuff.
Did.
So
you remember they did shut something. They did have that thing where you could like draw stuff like on like the Wii U gamepad, and they shut that down because people were drawing dicks and Smash Brothers and stuff.
Yeah. But you see some of the levels.
Yep.
Smash Bros fighting on massive dildos.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ridiculous. I don't know, but I kind of feel like they didn't like stop that immediately. Like I feel like it was all kinds of rampancy with that stuff going on. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
like,
no,
it
went crazy. It went crazy before they addressed it.
Nintendo reminds me of like your grandparents deciding to have a Twitch channel and not knowing how the moderation tools work when people start spamming the chat, saying all kinds of stuff, and they're just like, "Oh, how do you stop them from doing that?" I'm like, it's your channel. You can just block them, but they don't know how to do it. Like that's what Nintendo reminds me of. They just create this ecosystem, this opportunity for people to abuse what's there and not really know how to stop it. Clearly, like we don't know for certain. I'm just saying, I just feel like Nintendo don't quite know how to handle this stuff, and maybe that's why they were so adverse to doing it for so long. But hopefully they got a handle on moderation and parental controls and that kind of stuff before all this goes live.
You want to tell them it's like you cannot give people drawing tools and let them go, because the first thing they're gonna do is draw dicks. You can't do that. You cannot trust people not to do that.
Yeah, you can imagine.
What? We give you a tool we give you a piece of paper, and the first thing you're gonna do is draw mountains that look like something.
Yeah, right. And can you imagine Miyamoto with all the good intentions in the world? I can't wait to see what our community decides to do with all these development tools we get. Oh, there's a dick. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, there's more. Just a pair of balls. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, I don't know what. I haven't seen that in years. But okay, let me. It's just like
hide the women and the children.
Inappropriate. Everything's going to be inappropriate. Forte, what were your thoughts on like the content that they showed?
Show was great. I didn't go. So my biggest thing is of course everybody wanted to see Nintendo IPs and stuff. We knew we were going to see Mario Kart due to the fact that they showed it there, Metroid, stuff like that. So the games that I thought was going to be there, I saw. I wasn't expecting as much third party as they showed, but after I started watching it kind of makes sense because, the one downside of the Switch was, a lot of the bigger, AAA games or a lot of the third party games that they normally don't get were showcased there. Like, seeing Dust Blood there, I was like, not only is it there, it's exclusive. I was like, wait, hold up. So, you know, that was a really big one. And then, you know, another really big one for me was seeing, you know, we went an entire generation on the first Switch with no Madden on there. And I don't too much care for Madden. I care more about NCAA football. But as soon as I saw Madden on there, I was like, there's a chance that college football could come to the Switch. And I was like, I'm there, because I could do my recruiting at work and I could do all the gameplay at home, and I ain't gonna ever put that game down if I don't want to. So that was another really, really good thing that I saw there too. On top of the fact that, you know, the only thing I will say I'll give them like super, super negative points on is you're a $1 billion company and your stream should not do what it did for like 10 minutes during it. You know, the fact that a lot of stuff got kind of missed, like Final Fantasy VII Remake coming to the Switch and stuff was part of that announcement. There was a couple other games that kind of got announced during that. And if I was those developers, and Nintendo did the right thing, they kind of pulled down the live stream and they re-uploaded the actual stream after the fact when everything worked right. So you just had to go back and check it out that way. But you know, you only get one chance to make a good impression. So a lot of people that were watching it just watched what they watched and they never went back and watched it again because they probably already saw the games they want. So some people aren't going to know about a lot of these things unless they go back and check it. But for the most part, I really, really enjoyed everything that they kind of showed there. Donkey Kong being at the end of it, you know, I love Donkey Kong 64. So us getting a proper Donkey Kong game that's going to be, you know, in the 3D world is really, really cool. My wife lost her mind when she saw that, because, you know, she's a Mario person and a Grand Theft Auto person. Those are the only two games. Oh, and Sims, of course. She loves Sims. But console wise, those are the two games that move her. When she saw that Mario Kart, she was like, yeah, day one, we need to buy extra Joy-Cons. I was like, I didn't even have to. She said, hey, when does it come out? When can we pre-order? I was like, oh, it's already. I said, babe, it's already taken care of. Your man's been on top of this for a while. So I'm just super excited to see that stuff for the most part. But like I said, the stream overall, I gave it a 9. I liked it so much I was going to give it a 10, but I can't get something to 10 that literally you messed up 10 minutes of it by having technical difficulty. So that kind of deducted a point on it. But I was just shocked by a lot of the third party stuff that was there. But it makes sense because that was the Achilles heel of Nintendo when it came to those bigger ones. And seeing games like Borderlands and everything there, that's also really, really cool. So, you know, I'm just thinking of the portable aspect of playing a lot of these games. Not saying that it will be my main way of playing it, but I will definitely pick up a lot of these games on the Switch just for the simple fact that I can take it on the go to and still have the ability to play my Zelda games and stuff like that. But I liked it and cool. Can't wait for everything to come out with it.
I was all right. As far as content goes, I think they addressed some things that the community needed as far as social stuff, but they didn't go far enough. For example, you still would need a social security number, essentially, instead of having a unique username as your Switch ID that you could provide to people for them to find you. Nobody remembers what their Switch ID number is off the top of their head, and that's very counterintuitive for a community to have to deal with. And this is the fact that you still can't message people. Like you still can't say hi. So like, even though they've incorporated these features with like game chat, that's awesome. But how do you get people into the game chat?
Text them.
You're gonna have to hit them. Text them.
You gotta text them up, man.
Not in game, not within your network texting, but phone number texting, Discord texting, texting outside.
Yeah.
So you still haven't quite got all the features that you need to really be on par with other stuff. And, you know, good that you're now finally catching up to what Xbox and PlayStation did like 15 years ago, but you're still not quite there yet. So you need to do more. And I'm hoping that they continue that on you know, because like this stuff, this is infrastructure software features. You can do that. You can implement these things and then add them in a firmware update, and they'll be there the same way they added Bluetooth support after the fact in a firmware update. Like, you can do it. We know you can.
You can do it.
Yeah. That's when people would say, you know, is it a console or a portable? I said, well, it's a portable because of the fact that when it came to like the Wii U, you had a unique username. Yeah. Because you didn't take it with you. It stayed in the house. So you had a unique username. The minute they went to the Switch, they went portable again. They gave you the social security number, which they did with the 3DS because that was a portable unit. So there's that correlation to that. So I'm like, no, it's they see it as a portable in my mind because they're doing the social security numbers as opposed to a unique username.
Yeah.
Yeah. So content wise, I think it's fine. You got games. If you're a primary Switch player,
you got games, so you're fine. Just skipped over. He said, you know, it's fine. You got games. There's games coming to the system, but you know.
But I mean, a lot of them are older titles that have been out on other platforms. They just haven't been to the Switch because the Switch One couldn't handle it. But if you are a primary Switch player, you're not going to be able to experience, you know, great games like Elden Ring and Cyberpunk. And you didn't have that access to play those games on that platform before. So if you're someone who played it somewhere else, and you don't have a PC handheld, and you want to play Elden Ring on the go, then hey, here, you know, if with a Switch, you're going to be able to do that. It's a little, you know, late to the party, but it's there, you know, so good that they have it there. They have new titles. Clearly, Mario Kart is the big kahuna here. It's the most sold game on the Switch One. It's going to do really well on the Switch. We're getting to how we're gonna get into the pricing of it later, but it's for the general gamer. They showed enough content. For myself, I didn't see what I needed to see to get one.
You only want one. You did see something you wanted.
I saw a lot of things I want.
Exactly.
There's only one game that would one.
It's only one game that's going to, listen, there's one game that you would have bought it day one for, and that is Fire Emblem. But you did see a game you wanted because you can only get it on that system.
Right, and we're going to talk about that. But Dust Bloods don't come out till 2026. So whichever one comes out first. When Fire Emblem's announced it comes out, I will get a Switch 2. If Dust Bloods comes out before the next Fire Emblem, I'll get it for Dust Bloods. But otherwise, I'm not buying this because I see that it has no benefit to me. That said, how did you guys feel about Dust Bloods? Eric, what do you think? I can't remember. Are you a Souls guy? You're not really a Souls guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I platinum Elden Ring and.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Elden Lord.
I platinumed it.
I'm sorry, Elden Lord. You know, I disrespect my fellow Elden Lord because I'm an Elden Lord myself. I platinumed it as well, but yeah. Which
I was proud of you, man. You jumped in and you did the damn thing, you know. Because you weren't really like a Souls guy like for a while. Like they weren't like
he was hating
type of genre type of thing, right?
He said they were overrated games.
I still wouldn't call myself a Souls guy, but Elden Ring, I just got the bug with that one. I have 4 different characters to beat the game with, and but no, how like Dust Bloods looks interesting. Like the story aspects, It
just blew my mind that FromSoft did an exclusive. I didn't think they would ever do an exclusive again.
Me either. That's the shocking part of it. That's exclusive to the Switch 2. That's the I was just like, what? That blew my mind. What I wondered though, because like when you look at the trailer, I got no indication this was going to be a multiplayer focused game. Like none whatsoever. Like I thought it would be more single player, but maybe open world, just because the way they show like some of the panning shots of the environment, the level design. I thought, okay, so this is another like kind of maybe even within the same universe as like in the same, you know, the lands between, so to speak, or a different time period the lands between. But no, you know, brand new IP and 8-player PvPvE. Which, before we get into some of these other things here about it, just real quick, how do y'all feel about that? Because these next 2 games that's coming out from Software, like, are they kind of moving away from the traditional From Software game, like a Sekiro or a Demon Souls, where it's a more linear experience? Elden Ring was basically their Souls format in an open world. Night Rain is their Souls format in Battle Royale. And then now we have like this PV, like we don't know really like how they're implementing it, but definitely more focused on multiplayer. Are they ever going to go back to making like a single player? Not really, that game's really only one that's really single player is like Sekiro. Like the other one, more single player centric, but you could do co-op if you want to, and you can do, you know, PvP if you want to, but it's more focused on the single player aspect. Are they ever going to get back to that? What do you think, Eric?
I think the only way I think we'll get back to that is if they're introducing like a new engine, because I think now, this is what I've said. I don't know if this is a general consensus, but this is kind of how I felt about it. I said they've gotten away for a long time with using like that same engine, you know, that they've been using for years. And in a weird way with Elden Ring, they've kind of become like the new Bethesda in some ways, where people kind of give them the charm, like it's the From charm, you know, like the jank of their games or whatever, right? And if you look at the games, like Elden Ring's a beautiful game, but you can definitely see that it's not, you know, from a graphical standpoint, you know, there's definitely some of that.
It's got, I always say it like this: it's beautiful art direction.
Yeah.
But the actual visuals, like the actual like game engine and this assets and the visuals are not impressive. They're very much dated.
Yeah, because you know, you got characters, NPCs, and everything else that they you know, minimal mouth movement. It's not really, you know what I'm saying? It's sort of like it's definitely beholden. It's holding on to what we were dealing with in some of the original Souls games or whatever, right? So I almost feel like some of these games that they're doing right now is them squeezing more juice out of that lemon before they have to officially move on. Because I was like, their next game, I don't know, like how do you continue to, you know, in the next generations and going forward to keep using that same engine? Because it's definitely showing its age. But you can get away with that making a multiplayer game. You can get away with that putting it on the Switch 2. Because again, Switch 2 is not being looked at as a major powerhouse. It's being looked at as finally a more competent, you know, version of the Switch. You know? So you can still kind of push that and get away with it. That's kind of my thought on it. But you pose a good question. Is this sort of the way they're going to go? But I honestly do think that they will give us another like more traditional single player, like you said, with, you know, multiplayer aspects type game. You know, I do think they'll do that. I don't know if it'll be open world. But then there's other devs out there too taking their formula and kind of like, improving upon it in a lot of ways and making solid games out of it. Like one of my favorite games has been Lies of P. Absolutely love that game. You know, it takes that formula and kind of gives it like its own spin, but I think From could learn a lot from what NeoWiz did with that game.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Yeah, I think they'll eventually get back to making them, but they, you know, look, when Elden Ring by itself outsells your entire catalog, you know, you start to kind of look at that and go, well, we need to make more of things that lean into this, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think that their focus will be less of that, but they may have smaller teams doing more of that in the future. They're still giving like your traditional FromSoft Souls fan the kind of experiences that they grew to love from Software. But you know, that tangent out of the way.
Tangent.
Let's get into some of the details on the hardware itself, because there is some controversy in what exactly is going on here with its actual performance. So Nintendo claims that the Switch 2 will be capable of 1080p. I'm gonna say up to 1080p, because we know how that is, right? Up to 1080p resolution with an 8-inch 1080p screen and 120 frames per second in handheld mode. In docked mode, they claim it will be capable of 4K visuals at 60 frames per second. Now, I can imagine in docked mode, more than likely, you know, depending on the game, you may be able to do 120 frames per second as well. But again, these are, you know, claims and is up to. And considering what the hardware is, what the APU is, we have a RTX 3050 mobile, which is not really Ampere, it's Turing architecture. So it's really like a 2000 series mobile GPU. It's not super powerful, but it is NVIDIA, and it does have access to the DLSS upscaler, which was interesting because Digital Foundry said they found no evidence of DLSS being used in any of the Switch 2 footage shown in the presentation. Since then, and I guess some people started questioning, you know, Nintendo about this. Nintendo said it definitely has DLSS and said NVIDIA is going to make a statement about this, which later in the day NVIDIA did. And NVIDIA is saying that the Switch 2 is capable of using DLSS, is going to have variable refresh rate, VRR, and G-Sync, which is NVIDIA's, you know, frame syncing with resolution tool. Interesting that they say that, because this is the second time, because they first showed the Switch 2, they showed a clip of, like a few second clip of Mario Kart World, and people was like, yo, there's no anti-aliasing in this footage whatsoever. It was really pixelated. And now Digital Foundry is saying we don't see no DLSS anywhere. I don't know what's happening on the hardware front with that. There's that, and then there is also battery life. So the battery in this, considering the increased performance, has got people estimating, a lot of tech tubers who kind of look at and mess around with handhelds and their batteries, and they test performance with handhelds all the time. They're saying that the Switch 2 will have the lowest battery life out of all four of the different Switches that are out there. Switch OLED, the original Switch, and Switch Lite all is estimated to have better battery life than the Switch 2. So I say all that to say, Forte,
Mm-hmm.
what are your thoughts about this when it comes to what the hardware is capable of and its battery life? Especially for you, because you play a lot of your Switch in handheld mode. So this is very, very important for how you're going to be playing that.
Yeah, so even on the original Switch, when I carry it, you know, in my backpack, I have a portable power brick with it, just because it doesn't last. Depending on the game you're playing, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, any of those type games, 4 or 5 hours max is what you're going to get out of it. If that, maybe 3. I'd probably say 3, 2 on the low end, 3 on the 3 to 4 on the high end, if you're playing consistently straight through and not charging. So I always carry the brick. So it's never been a big issue for me for the most part.
They're saying you can expect anywhere between 2 the 6.5 hours of battery life for the Switch, depending on what kind of games you're playing.
Switch
and I
1 or
would
Switch 2?
wager Switch 2.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
would wager
It's gonna be more
that
closer to 2.
less than 2 hours, if you're playing like something like Cyberpunk, you're probably looking at like 90 minutes, probably, if you don't have it charged up or whatever. So
yeah, so battery life has never really been. I mean, it is a selling point. I mean, you typically pay more if something has a bigger battery on it. You know, being a person that's had a laptop and traveled with a laptop, play games on a laptop, 90% of the time your laptop is plugged in because you get the performance boost when you're plugged in because you're getting every bit of all the cores of your CPU and GPU. So I always kind of had it plugged in unless I'm playing something like real small, like, you know, just any like Code of the Lamb, something that's not super heavy, or Cuphead or something. But for the Switch 2, I just would tell people don't expect 5-hour batteries on a game like Cyberpunk, like you said, or don't even expect 2 hours on a game like Cyberpunk. If you're going to be playing a heavy load game like that, you know, invest in like some type of brick.
You better be leaning up against a wall.
Yeah,
and
leaning up
preferably
against a wall
with a power socket like right beside you.
Yep. Or like I said, just get yourself a brick that's going to allow you to, you know, give you an extra 2 hours of battery life on it. So that's kind of how how I do it and stuff. So that's not really a big issue to me. Now, when it comes to like the performance and stuff and the power everybody is saying, I said the same thing about Xbox and the same thing about PlayStation. When these companies are talking about what their system can do, when they say up to 120 frames per second, up to 4K visuals when it's docked, they're 90% of the time talking about their own games. They're talking about the games that they make. Like Mario, I can see Mario Kart in a dock at 4K. It's not a very graphical demanding game. I can also see it hit 120 inside of a dock too, because it's not a real heavy game. Now, dudes, like all the stuff that's coming out, they probably rushed to get the trailer out, and everybody said we don't see any anti-aliasing or anything like that, or any VR or anything when it comes to just the gameplay footage in general. I can see that being something that, you know, could have got missed in the trailer and they didn't have it in there, and it is something that's going to be there when the game launches. But people got to realize when the company says our system does X, Y, and Z, they're predominantly talking about their games, because they're the ones that are going to, you know, build the games to the spec of what they want it to be on the system, where everybody else is just going to put the games on there. I don't expect Dustborn to run at no 4K. I don't even expect it to hit 1080p. It's probably going to run 720p, 30 frames per second on that thing just to get it out the door. Maybe they can get a 60 frames per second version. I don't believe it until I see it. But
it's FromSoft, so they not exactly the kings of optimization.
Exactly. So, you know, Cyberpunk isn't going to be running 60 frames per second on the Switch 2. It's going to be 30. It's probably going to be 30.
Actually, CDPR came out with some data on it. They in handheld mode, 30 is the target.
Yep.
They did not talk about a resolution you probably don't want to know.
Yeah, you don't want to know. 540p, which will look good still on a Switch on the screen.
Definitely leveraging DLSS. I think they actually said DLSS performance mode. And in dock. Targeting, I think 1440p, or probably not 4K, but they did say a locked 40 FPS in dock.
40. Okay.
Yeah, 40.
Once again,
see,
and when people hear something
40,
like
hold on. 40 is a very specific, like, people who not really tuned into it won't know why they said 40, because 40 is when VRR activates.
When it activates.
So it's not going to be as great as 60, but it won't be as choppy. It would be a little bit smoother because of that. That's why they said 40. So
go ahead. No, I was gonna say
you good.
No, I was gonna say, so, you know, just to answer those questions, like I just said, the biggest thing is when it comes to the performance, you know, don't count on third party to do it for you. do it for you. When you're talking about your performance and your specs, you're talking about what your system could do with the games that you're going to output on it, because you can't count on third party to do that for you. And that is going to be kind of the message that's going around. People see all of these games. It's a good chance that Final Fantasy VII Remake ain't going to run at 60 frames per second on that thing. It's probably not. Same thing with Rebirth. If Rebirth comes on there, it definitely ain't gonna run at 60 frames per second on that thing. Probably 720p. But ultimately, I think it's gonna be good enough for what Nintendo wants it to do. But it's also gonna be good enough to have those games finally become available in the Nintendo ecosystem. And a lot of people, and we saw this with Hogwarts Legacy sold like crazy on the Switch, and guess what, it was far from the best version of the game. People were
it looks
playing,
hideous.
it's terrible, but guess what, it sold amazing on the Switch, because a lot of people just wanted to play that game. The people got to understand, the ability to play on the go means a lot. And for a lot of people, and people say I don't see people walking around the streets with Switches in their hand. Not here, but I see people that go to work all the time. I see my associates with their Switches at work. I know associates that work at GM. They have they're on the floor. Listen, one of my associates works for GM too. He was telling me everybody on the floor that was working in his department all was watching the Switch reveal, and they were all excited. It's like, oh my God, I can't wait to get this Switch so I can bring it to work so I can do stuff. I was like, man, y'all, that's why cars be having all these recalls, because y'all up here watching Switch reveals and stuff like this. But seriously, it's not going to really matter for those people in the end, because that's what they're buying it for, something completely different. But if you're worried about the performance, don't buy third-party games on it. Just stick to the ones that are, have a better chance of running the way they need to, which are going to be the first-party ones.
Eric, I got a question for you, because you have a Steam Deck. So I think I have a very specific Eric Jackson question for you. Also, do you happen to have a PS Portal?
I do.
Perfect. This is even better. Let's say there's a game that's coming out. It's a third-party game, and it's available. You have a Switch 2, a PS Portal, and a Steam Deck. You got 3 of these items. It's available on PC, PlayStation, and Switch 2. Which platform is getting your money for that game that you want to play? Let's take the PS5 out of it. Because you could be like,
you
well,
can't
I want
take
the
the
best
PS5,
performance.
because if you got a portal, then you got to have a PS5 for a portal.
Yeah.
Actually, you can now
not all games.
play games through not all games. But when I mean
you can
take the PS5 out of it, is that we're not talking about the fact that you could play it on your PS5, which it would be more performant on that than the Switch 2 in your Steam Deck. But specifically, here's a game that you would like to play on your handheld devices. Which one are you choosing?
For a third-party game, I'd probably be choosing like the Steam Deck.
Okay.
If you say we're taking the
that?
PS5 out of it, where I'm specifically looking, I'll just put it like this. I'm probably not going to be picking up a ton of third party on the Switch, because I'm not doing because I'm not traveling a lot where I'm doing like a lot of handheld gaming where I need that. So I'm going to still want to play it in the best place possible. So if I'm not playing it like on the PS5, then if I really want that portability, I'd probably pick it up on the Steam Deck.
Yep.
Yeah. And worst case scenario,
because I know performance-wise, it's still going to be better.
Yeah, and if you're in a place where you have good access to good Wi-Fi, worst case scenario, you could jump on GeForce Now on your Steam Deck and play it way better than the Switch 2 and even the PS5 could be capable of doing. As far as visuals and frame rate goes, the latency is actually they got the best latency in cloud gaming. It's not as good as native, but visually, like with the high frame rates that you're going to get, it's well worth it. So I would say probably the Steam Deck makes sense. What were your thoughts on just the specs the hardware and its battery life, that kind of performance stuff that we know so far.
Again, it fell in line, and like Forte said, the same thing came to my mind too. I was like, when they talked about the capabilities, I said they're probably looking at it more in terms of from what they're going to do with their first party, because they've always been really good at optimizing their own games on the weaker hardware. So they've never had that issue. So when I see them talking about 120 frames per second and this and that, I definitely felt they were talking more from the terms of what their first party would be, as opposed to the capabilities of what a third party might get out of it. So again, it's like the Switch 2. It's like if it all kind of still fell in line with what I thought it would be, a pro version of the Switch.
Yeah.
All right, man, let's get into it. Let's get into what everybody want to talk about.
Let's go.
Let's do this. The Switch 2 is priced at $450, a price that Forte knew about weeks ago. The games, the price of these games are all over the damn place, but I'm gonna get into that in a second. The Switch 2 accessories are priced as follows: the Switch 2 Pro controller, which has back buttons as well as a microphone on it and a game chat button on it itself, is $80, which is pretty much in line with which it typically costs to get some really good controllers out there, third-party controllers, the DualSense controllers around this price range. That's a good price. The Joy-Con 2, though, is $90.
Makes sense.
When they do them special edition Joy-Cons, it's going to be more. So just, $100. The new camera is $50. And this dock, that's the dock for the Switch 2, which is different than that cheap old dock they gave you with the Switch 1. The dock itself, if you want a second dock or need a replacement dock because the other one broke, $11.
That's how much it is?
Yeah. $110, yes, is the dock by itself.
I'm happy that they're selling the dock, because they didn't sell the Switch 1 dock separately. You had to get third-party ones for it, so it's just the fact that they're actually selling it.
Yeah. It's good. All right, so let me these games. So
these games.
Everybody's upset about the pricing of these games. They are all over the place. First off, what we know for a fact is that Mario Kart World is $80 digital and $90 physical. I'm gonna repeat myself. $80 for the digital version of Mario Kart World and nearly $100 for the physical copy. Donkey Kong Bonanza, the brand new Donkey Kong game, has been listed on Best Buy as $70, which is your standard price for a full price game. Additionally, they talked about doing enhanced versions of Switch games that were already out. For example, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which actually was a Wii U game, by the way.
Yes, go ahead.
That game, enhanced, is $80. A game that came out on the Wii U. Essentially, any Tears of the Kingdom as well, $80. Any of the games that they did enhanced versions of them, where they play at better frame rates and better visuals, you're looking at like $20 to $30 price increase for those games.
Let me tell you the smart thing that you should do when it gets to me.
Now,
the smart thing.
The pricing of third-party games seems to be in line with what you get on other platforms, mostly because these third-party publishers and developers set their own price.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get, for example, Hades 2, for example. Supergiant Games they showed Hades 2. That's coming out at launch on the Switch 2, the way it is coming out on the Xbox, the PlayStation, and coming out of early access for PC. They're not going to price that game higher on Switch 2 than they are on these other platforms when it's going to be less performant on the Switch 2. It's just guaranteeing, and less people will buy it there. So it's going to be price parity for those games. But with Nintendo games themselves, it seems to be the pricing is all over the place. Additionally, Nintendo has added anti-scalper measures for Switch 2 pre-order invites. So they put up a webpage after the presentation. You click a button, you sign in, click a button that you're interested in getting a Switch 2. They're going to send you an invite, but they are tiering the priority of these invites. And the priority goes as such. If you have the Nintendo Switch Online subscription membership and you've had it for at least 12 months, you're going to get an invite. If you've played at least 50 hours of gameplay on the Switch 1, that's not a lot. That's basically one game. That's one playthrough of me playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. That you're going to get an invite. But they are tiering that as well to the people who's played the most on the Switch, all the way down to the people who played the least. Essentially, this is the way to keep scalpers from basically taking up the invites and then throwing a Switch 2 on eBay for $2,000.
Right.
And then finally, I'll say this before we get into it. They did a Treehouse live stream today, if you missed it, where 99% of the comments being spammed in the chat for the Treehouse was saying, drop the price. So, Game & Forte, what do you think about these prices, bro?
All right, so these prices are crazy. I'm not gonna sit here. I'm never gonna defend prices because that's ridiculous. That is just like, at the end of the day, just because I can afford it doesn't mean it's right. So I will say this though. The fact that Tears of the Kingdom came out at $69.99 and it was the only Switch game that did it, and it sold like it did, basically told Nintendo that y'all was willing to spend money on it. Now, is it fair? Is it fair that they took the one game, Mario Kart's another one, but Mario Kart was already out and already had a price point in place with it. But they tested the water with one of their big IPs and said, y'all gonna buy it. And then if y'all buy it at a rate that we think is super successful, then we're gonna up the ante with the new system when it comes out. So I don't have a problem with the price points overall. Now, the one thing I will tell people to do is I would start looking, and they haven't announced what the upgrade prices of these games are going to be. Like if you already own Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, because there is upgrade paths for the versions of the games if you already have the game. I don't know what that price is going to be. The industry standard normally is $10. So if that's the case, I would probably.
They're not playing by industry standard rules.
Yeah, that's
right
true. They're not playing by industry standard rule. It could be $20. Who knows? But
right.
if I was you guys and you
to bring some data to this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom sold 21 million units, which
Right.
is more than like any Xbox game has sold in a very long time, and more than what the majority of PlayStation games have sold for the past 2 generations. It sold that at that price point when the rest of the platform was $10 cheaper. So yeah, you definitely have a point there that game selling that well definitely was
It gave them the green light. It was like, yo,
some
green,
indication of what they
green
wanted
for
to
go.
do, yeah.
But so, and I think the biggest thing is most people just wasn't expecting Nintendo to do it. Like we were, when EA did, not when 2K did it, with NBA, it was kind of like, they would be the first ones to jump out the window. But then when you start thinking about it, I tell people all the time, I was like, but they already been doing this. The game that they sell the most of is the $100 version of a game. They just raised the basement up to 70 instead of it being 60. So people are already used to kind of doing that. And then once one publisher does it, then you started seeing EA do it. Then you started seeing other companies do it. Now you see Mario Kart out the gate, digital for $80. Digital. So I'm just telling you right now, halfway through this generation, maybe not even halfway through. By this time next year, you will see more $80 games than you thought you would have seen in your lifetime before. Because Grand Theft Auto, I'm telling you right now, if 2K was thinking about it and actually had a really good thought that they would do $100, they might just do it. At least 90.
Well, let's hold on now, because
no, we're gonna go back to Nintendo. We're just gonna go back to Nintendo.
Yeah, because GTA is probably watching this intently because
and see how it goes. Because we know that Mario Kart 8 on the Switch 1 alone did 67 million. 67 million.
67 million units. I do not think, at least not in the same time frame that Mario Kart 8 hit that number, I don't think
it will
at
hit
that
faster.
price point.
It will hit it faster.
You think Mario Kart 8 World is going to hit it faster?
You know why it's going to hit faster? Remember, they didn't start doing bundles of Mario Kart 8 until the year before the OLED came out.
Oh, you mean because they're doing the bundle for $500
they're bundling the game. It's going to hit it faster because you're talking about most people. Initially, with the initial launch, most people are probably going to go with
Rockstar can't take that kind of data as an indication to go super high on GTA 6 because they're not bundling that with any kind of hardware. And they don't have any hardware to bundle with anyway.
But you also got to think it's a game. So basically, you're getting it at $50 if you do it with the system. You're saving basically 40 versus the digital copy of the game. So right. the biggest thing that they're gonna look at is they already know the game has a market at 60. They know it has a market at 60 because they saw what Mario Kart 8 did. They also saw what Zelda, and Mario Kart is more popular than Zelda. Zelda did it at 70. So we're basically saying a $10 difference in price of the game. I mean, of course, if you go physical, it's $20 more. It stands within belief. Like,
but here's the thing though. Here's the thing, and look, I always say this, and I'm gonna repeat it again.
Yeah.
Value is subjective. So someone who their favorite game on the Switch 1 is Mario Kart 8, they're going to see far more value in spending the money that they may spend on Mario Kart World than myself, who has never played Mario Kart 8 and has zero intention of ever playing either one of those games. $1 is too much, is too rich for my blood to play Mario Kart 8. I'm not doing it. So that's me.
Yeah.
For someone who is into this, I still somewhat feel like just it's basic economics that the higher your price goes, the lower demand becomes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
So unless they plan on doing bundles indefinitely for Mario Kart World, I think initially, of course, because whenever something launches, it sells out immediately. Because everyone who's interested in it is going to get it. So this year is Nintendo's year. They're going to be selling like crazy all year long.
Well,
right?
they already proved that that's what they're going to do though, because they came out with a Mario Wonder bundle that's out in stores right now. But what is the bundle that comes out every holiday for the Switch for like the last 6 years or the last
Mario
5
Kart.
years? The Mario Kart bundle.
Yep.
The Mario Kart bundle is the one that they run every year. No fail. It has always been, and this year was the first year that they did the OLED with the Mario Kart bundle. So all the way up until this year, it was only the version 2 that had the Mario Kart bundle. So it's just they're still gonna do bundles outside of it. They're gonna probably do I don't know if they'll do like a Fire Emblem bundle, because they'll definitely probably do a Metroid bundle. They might.
I mean, they won't do a Fire Emblem because Fire Emblem's not that popular.
Right.
They won't do a Fire Emblem bundle, but
they did do a Monster Hunter bundle though.
But Monster Hunter sells like crazy though.
It does.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. They're going to end up doing. They're probably going to do a Metroid bundle. They did a Zelda bundle. They did a Mario Wonders bundle, and then every year they do for the holiday season they do a Mario Kart bundle. So that's why I just think so. It's going to be very, very skewed on seeing how that game sells by itself, because they don't really announce the individual sales versus the bundle sale. But I can just tell you like this right now, Mario Kart by itself sold well by itself. And then the bundle put it over the top. And then you got a game like Tears of the Kingdom that comes out at $70, and it's nowhere near as popular as Mario Kart. And that game sold 20-something million.
But I think it's more than that, because clearly they understand they can't price everything like this.
Oh no,
because Donkey Kong Bonanza is regular price at $70, and even then, some people are like, "That's still too much money for that kind of game."
You want to know what the real reason that I think, and this is just theory crafting. The real reason I think this is happening with price points, not all of them, but some of them are going to be due to the fact that they can charge more. Like Zelda, they know they could charge more for. Mario Kart, they know they could charge more for. But I do think a underlining issue that's happening is since they're still on game cards, the bigger that these game cards are, they're going to charge you more for the game that is on. So if there's a game card that's 32 gigs, they're going to charge you probably the $60 to $70 for it. But if it's a game card, because we saw
Nintendo first party, because apparently Cyberpunk is a 64 gig game card.
Yeah,
and it's still being priced at regular price.
But you got to think, is that with Liberty City on it?
I mean, Phantom Liberty, yes.
It's
the Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition, which is Edition, plus the DLC, yes.
Yeah, so I think for Nintendo, the size of that game card is going to matter. I don't think it's going to be the end be all, but if they have a game card that's like 64 gigs or 128 gigs, they're going to charge you the extra money for that card.
They will have games where essentially you're just getting the license there. There's some games that will be the case where the game is too big. Yeah, the game is too big for the cartridge, so you're going to have to install the game once you install the cartridge in order to play it. But there's a lot of conversation going on right now about not necessarily. Okay, there's the conversation about whether Mario Kart World is worth this, and we clearly think it's going to sell well, and Nintendo knows it's going to sell well. That's why they did it, because it's brand power, it's brand image, it's the power of that brand.
It's also this though too, and we don't know the full scope. Now, can we all probably come to an agreement? So I don't know, we probably can't, but if we come to agreements on this, them calling it Mario Kart World means, in my opinion, means they're done with numbers with Mario Kart, at least for the rest of the Switch.
No, this is it.
This is it.
Yeah, it's a live service game. Did you see the map?
It's a platform.
Because all they've been doing with Mario Kart 8 for the last 3 years is giving you DLC map updates. So this is just going to be a new game that they are just going to turn into a live service game like they did with Mario Kart 8. So I think part of me...
It'd be the same with the next Smash too.
Yep. Part of me believes that the $80 price point isn't just because you're getting the game. I kind of think it, and like I said, I don't know this 100%. This is just me kind of hoping that Nintendo gives a thing.
Are they going to charge for battle passes and
I think you'll get
seasonal content?
I think
the
you're
kind
gonna get
that
the
you get with
first
other
one,
live service games.
I think you're going to get the first one free. And I think that's part of the $80. Anybody that gets in, I think you're going to get the first initial, whatever download comes out. I think you're going to get that free. And then I think everything after that you have to pay for. I think that's what I'm hoping it is for $80. Now, granted, I still think $80 isn't bad for a game like Mario Kart because I love Mario Kart. It's not too far out there where I'm willing not to spend it. I mean, I was spending $100 on Destiny DLCs every year. I can spend I can spend $80 for Mario Kart.
You are so wasteful.
Well, listen, but that's how it was. But for the most part, you just got to look at it and say, okay, for gamers, I hope the reason they're charging you $80 outside of the fact that they can is because there's something that they're giving you inside of this live service for the initial launch of it that is going to kind of comfort you in the beginning, but then they're going to hit you upside the head when they start charging you $24.99 every other year or every year for a new set of maps. And you saw its cosmetics in it. You could change your character and make Princess Peach and Rosina look different.
I mean, but every live service game can do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But those are all things that they're going to implement that you're going to pay for on the back end. And I think you're going to get a lot of stuff with the game when you buy it that's going to kind of land up to that $80 price point. At least make you feel better about it. But then they're just going to hit you upside the head with more stuff later on. Like E said, I think Smash Brothers is going to go in the same direction. Instead of them just giving you DLC character packs, you're going to just subscribe to a battle pass and you're going to unlock stuff as you go and you play the game.
Which, I mean, I guess that's fine because I mean we see that with Call of Duty, we see that with other games that are a pay upfront experience.
Yeah,
and you get into that. It's just that the amount of content that you deliver needs to be considered good enough for the player base. But there's the argument about the pricing of Mario Kart World, and then there is also the discussion that's going on about what this does to the industry overall. And in regards to now that Nintendo has kind of pushed the industry, because this is their next generation machine. People forget the Wii, they gave up on the Wii U pretty quickly.
This is a new generation, 10th gen right here.
This is 10th gen, starting with Nintendo with their Switch 2. But people think that this is starting the pricing going from $70 to $80 across the board. And so, Eric, when you see Mario Kart World be priced like this, and we all anticipate that GTA 6 will be similarly priced like this, and potentially Call of Duty might be doing the same thing, considering it's in that same kind of bracket of we basically print money and we get people buying this every year no matter what we do. Do you think this is an indication of where things are going as far as what the standard price of a standard AAA game is?
Absolutely. And like Forte said, this isn't about, defending price. It's just being realistic about where things go. Game developers for the longest have, and you've said on this show and other shows have said too, like game pricing was stagnant for a long time, right? Like did not move. So you kind of get into a point now where the gaming industry is sort of looking at it like in terms of, like we are the big money maker over many other industries, and you're standing on business behind your product. You're saying like they know what Mario Kart does. They know, when it comes to the lexicon or the zeitgeist or whatever, Mario Kart stands up there with some of the biggest games out there, right? So they're leading with like one of their biggest platforms to be like, hey, we're banking on the fact that, we believe in this game, we can support this game, and people are going to buy this game. And I think a big part of that too, something in there too, is with this weird split pricing where digital is this price and the physical is this price. I think they're kind of trying to maybe not make physical as appealing as just grabbing a digital copy, because why wouldn't, that's where they would want you. They want you in the digital realm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting too expensive to make these cartridges and
so they're sort of like, why not just grab the digital copy? But no, guys, buckle up. So between, economy, tariffs, and the whole nine. Just the fact in general that the gaming industry is recognizing that this is what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people are spending money on it. They're not really concerned whether you know, about how you feel about it. But at the same time, the market will dictate if they're jumping out there and people are not feeling it, and that pinch is happening, they're gonna have to adjust.
Yeah.
But I do find it interesting when people say, like, you know, they use the term like get away with it, and it's like, well, almost every industry does that. You know, they push the envelope to see what they're gonna do. But in a weird way, when it comes to gaming, it's like unlike any other industry, people feel like they love gaming, they want to be a part of gaming, but they feel gaming should never move. You know, like it should always be this, or they don't want to, you know, pay to play and this and that. But they don't hold that same energy when it comes to, like, look at the movie industry. SloMo, you guys know, Forte, you know, you take the family out to a movie, how much you paying?
I complained about the fact I told that story about Captain America, and I was like, I liked the movie, but I felt like the fact that when I left that movie theater, because it was me and I had to go on a Sunday because my kids wanted to go, and I was like, okay, and you know, we talk about peak prices. It cost me $83 for 3 people, and that's not bad. It's not terrible, but I also know
a movie that you felt was just okay.
Okay, exactly. Because when I went to go see Endgame, and I went to go see Infinity War, I spent like close to $140 on tickets and food. And when I left that movie theater, not a dollar sign went through my mind. All I was talking about is how amazing it was. I didn't care how much money I spent on it. But as soon as I left Captain America, I was like thinking about, I spent $84 for something I could have just watched on Disney Plus.
And that's just it.
Here's the thing.
So, hold on.
You'll do it
there.
again at the movie theater. You'll go and do it again.
Yep. Yeah,
and
you're
there's
right.
no guarantee
but here's the thing is that Forte didn't feel was worth that money for Captain America. And so and I think there are going to be I think eventually $80 games standard is coming when 2 years from now, when PS6 comes out and whatever the next Xbox device is, whether it's a handheld or a hybrid or traditional console, whatever the heck that is, when that comes out, $80. I don't think it's going to be standard right now because, frankly, not everybody's Mario Kart World. Not everybody is GTA 6. Not everybody is Call of Duty or NBA. Yeah, because it's like Ubisoft can't price their games like that.
Right.
Hell no.
EA can't price anything that's not Madden or EA FC football or whatever the FIFA game is called now. They can't price none of them other games like that. No one else can come out and price their games like that and expect to sell anything, and they won't. No. And so I think that we are seeing where things are going, but we're not quite necessarily there yet. People think it's going to be, and like I almost kind of wonder sometimes when people go, all the games are going this right now, and I'm like,
no, not every
so
game
you
can
really
do that.
You really think Borderlands 4 is going to be $80?
No.
Are you going to buy Borderlands 4 at $80? No.
But your next 2K, your next NBA 2K could be $80 because they have the brand recognition to do that.
Exactly, which is the reason why we see Nintendo pricing Donkey Kong Bonanza at $70 and Mario Kart World at $80, because they understand the difference between what the IP, the strength of the IP for Mario Kart World and the strength of the IP of Donkey Kong, who ain't had his own game in a decade or more. Right. They know what to price things at and the expectations of it. And if you, gamer, have a problem with it, and I know what the response is to this, I'm just one person, SloMo. I can't do anything about it. No, you can't. But you know who somehow a community of gamers always seem to make sure to tell publishers and developers what they will and will not deal with.
Yeah, I already know what this is.
And they are all individually one people, but they all somehow become a collective and collectively kick platforms, publishers, and developers in the dick. They do it on a anytime they take umbrage with something, and that's the PC community. If you feel like this price isn't worth it for you, you do what you need to do to either get it at a cheaper price, or you don't buy it.
Or you don't buy it.
Put your money where your mouth is. It's too expensive.
You skip the phase, but we know we're not talking about that here.
Which gamers are not always the best at doing. Gamers talk a lot of good game, but then when that FOMO hits and everything else, they show up.
Right. Like people kept trying to tell me, SloMo, you gonna buy that Switch too. The FOMO gonna get you. No, I'm not. I told you I'm buying one when I see Fire Emblem. I literally have nothing that I saw that's gonna be available at launch. Have I not already played somewhere else, or that I want to play right now? So if I bought a Switch 2, to do what? To look at it? To set it up? And stare at it? Take a picture of it? I ain't playing nothing on it.
Take a picture.
I want to play Fire Emblem.
Yeah, and that's where the subjective, right? And that's where the subjective nature of gaming comes in. You know, that's how this whole thing works. Like, you know, what moves you may not move someone else, and vice versa.
Right.
You know, so I already know. I don't know why people will come at you and say you buying one. It's like y'all know SloMo. Like not his main platform.
I'm like everyone else that does a ton of complaining, and then at the end of the day, they quietly walk their way to GameStop. They look Forte in the eye, and then they go, I want that.
I need that.
And Forte's like, you want what? I want the.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
I
right.
You ain't lying, bro.
I said I wasn't going. I want. Don't tell nobody.
You ain't lying.
Yeah,
bro.
you buying it anyway, and you probably gonna buy this welcome tour ridiculous nonsense.
I ain't buying that. I ain't buying that.
How to use the Switch 2 and you make it paid. I lost your daggone mind with this foolishness, Nintendo.
I saw
somebody for a tutorial. You make people pay you for a tutorial how to use your device. You should be doing that for free, stupid. Actually, you're not stupid, but you stupid for buying. If you're buying that, then you're stupid.
You also forgot they sold us cardboard, which I didn't buy, by the way.
Yeah,
that was
they don't care.
That's a very Nintendo thing. But the thing is too, is like people gotta understand too. Like Nintendo's not dumb. They're not just. I think any of this is like willy nilly. We're just doing whatever just to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like Nintendo understands like the value of their IP.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Sony and Xbox. They have big IP that people recognize, but they don't have theme parks built around it.
That's true.
You know, their IP is on the level of the most popular, biggest IP in the world. When you got your Marvels, your DCs, your Disneys, and everything else, Mario and all this stuff is right in there with it. So you put that together with your hardware. It's like Nintendo's playing a different game than what everybody else is playing, but everybody else kind of wants them to be in the power game and they're not doing this. That's not the game that they play. They're playing in this realm of like IP recognition and coupling that with their hardware and their game ideas, and it all kind of fuses and works together, and it becomes a culture built around it. So they know kind of who they're dealing with. They're not. Right. Yep. They're hoping that they'll get SloMo to come along, but they're not worried about SloMo coming along. They know who's coming. They know who's going to rock with them. You know. So that's the thing. So it's like there's just this thing where people kind of get into this realm, this area of like, well, I don't think that this is worth it, but they're like, well, you don't, but someone does. You know, and they've been doing this long enough, but for whatever reason, people kind of look at them as like the little kid. And I'm like, they're not the little brother of this thing. They're kind of doing their own thing on a level that I think even Sony and Microsoft would love to be in.
Oh yeah, they would love to be able to dictate prices to people.
Yeah. And people are like, well, they don't put it on sale. Like, well, sometimes they feel that they don't have to. That's the power of that IP.
I could probably count on one hand how many times I've seen Breath of the Wild go on sale. I could count on one hand how many times I've seen Mario Kart go on sale. Maybe 2 or 3 times over 8 years. And we're talking about
and that in itself becomes a part of the culture because the minute they go on sale, everyone's talking. Oh, y'all better grab that! It's on sale right now.
Speaking of which, no, right now, no lie, right now at GameStop, you can buy Mario RPG for $20. $20. I've never seen.
Why?
Every time
because
I go
Mario RPG ain't sell that well.
No, and guess what? Every day I'm shipping out 10 to 15 copies of that game for people that ordered it online. Every day.
Because of the sale?
Yes, because of the sale. People are buying it because it's $20. And guess what? That game is going to end up having. And guess what? Listen. I didn't buy Mario RPG. I almost bought it because it was $20. And then I had to think about it. And then I had to think about it. It's like, I'm not gonna play this.
It sold 3 million copies.
Exactly. And guess what? I guarantee you, by the time, depending on how long this is on sale, they'll sell another million just off of this $20 price tag. Because guess what? Like E just said, they don't drop their prices. So now a game that nobody was interested in, now everybody's interested in it because it's $40 off. Because Nintendo don't drop their prices on their first party games. Oh man,
it's a whole thing. I still said the company is not stupid by any stretch. You know, this isn't like, and I know people say like, well, you know, Nintendo gets away with this, and a lot of them get away with a lot of different stuff. But it's just, I'm not saying trying to defend them. I'm just saying, you know,
strong brands get away with doing things like this. When your brand isn't strong, when your IP isn't strong, when your platform is a little weak, you start doing things like putting your games on other platforms.
Oh man!
You start doing things like, hey, we can't sell our game, so we put our game. Hey, we're gonna come to you. We're gonna come to you where you are, since you won't buy our hardware to play our games. We're gonna put our games on your platform. That's the difference between a strong brand identity
and we're gonna put our games
and a weak brand.
We'll put our games
identity
on your platform, but nobody's coming to put the games on our platform.
Exactly. You putting your
Final
games
Fantasy VII
everywhere
remake
else
on the Switch, and it's still not on Xbox.
Yeah, which it
That's Xbox
very
actually.
well. Yeah,
I think it's just because of
it can very well show up at the Xbox showcase.
It could. It definitely could. But it's just,
it
interesting.
Doesn't have a release date on Switch 2 yet, and
it's just ironic that they announced
it's coming out a week before the Xbox showcase. Maybe they say, hey, FF7 remake for Xbox as well, and then they do the release date in this for Switch 2 as well. But the fact that it was announced for Switch 2 before Xbox, when Xbox has been the one trying to get the game, and Switch has just been out here. You know, it's funny. Optics wise, it's just funny. But
I feel like if the Switch could run that game, it would have been on there already.
Oh yeah. If it could run, the Switch 1 could run it, they would have put it on there by now. They would have put it on there when they put it on PC. Yeah, if it could run it. But to finish this up, we could just do a real quick ad talking about if we're getting the Switch 2, and actually I think I might go ahead and do a poll. If you're getting the Switch 2 and how many that you're getting. So Eric, are you getting the Switch 2?
Yeah, I'm a cop one because I'm a Nintendo fan, so I'm gonna get one. No, I'm excited, but no, I'm gonna get one because my daughter's not gonna let that fly. She's not gonna ignore that Mario Kart. So yeah, I'm beholden to the mini CFO.
The mini CFO. Let's go.
Now, Forte.
Yeah.
I already know you're getting one. So just how many? How many, man?
Oh, wifey already told him he was getting it.
Yeah, wife already told me before I even got a chance to tell her. Because I didn't know she knew about it. And she was like, oh, yeah, Mario Kart. I saw that. This is day one. Actually, just for my household, one. I'm only getting one. I'm getting one. I don't need two. I'm keeping my OLED, my Zelda OLED. Yep. So if my kids want to play something when I got my Switch 2 with me, there's your OLED. I mean, the only problem with that is they can't play Mario Kart on the regular OLED, which is crazy. But I'm only getting one. Maybe at some point in the future, I'll end up with a second one. My oldest daughter, she plays mostly Xbox. So I can kind of just see a situation where the only time we'll really play Mario Kart a lot is when we're all together and we only need one system to do that. So yeah, I'm only getting one initially. I'm just pretty much getting all the games they want. Like my daughter said she wants the Tamagotchi Life game. My wife wants Mario Kart. She wants the Donkey Kong when it comes out in July. I'm going to pick up Puyo Puyo Tetris when it comes out because I love Tetris. And I'm picking up Metroid. Those are the games that I know I'm getting within the launch
Metroid
window.
is a must play. That's a must copy.
Yeah. I know I'm getting those games on top of buying the can I still have my Breath of the Wild and my Tears of the Kingdom. I'll just pay that little upgrade fee because I feel like it's pretty now Tears of the Kingdom, don't have a problem with that being 80 because it's already a $70 game. You're basically just paying the extra $10 to get the better version of the game for the Switch 2, but that is criminal that they're charging you $80 for Breath of the Wild. That's criminal.
That game is 2 generations old.
That is criminal.
Yeah, that's wild. That's absolutely wild.
That's what I'm telling you. If you can find Breath
all
of the Wild
enhanced
on sale,
games,
find it.
All the enhanced games are $80.
Yeah, that's criminal that they're charging you $80 for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I would suggest if you're interested and you don't own a copy, go try to find one now.
Yep, go find one now. Just pay the upgrade
find
fee.
A used copy and pay the upgrade fee. There you go.
I refuse to pay 80. Yeah, screw all that. But yeah, I'm gonna get mine's day one. I've been putting money on the GameStop gift card since October of last year, so I have enough money to pay for everything.
When did the pre-orders go for GameStop?
When did they go live? Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, Wednesday next week. We don't know what time. Hopefully they're in the morning, but they said Wednesday morning. And trade-in promotions are 175 for a OLED,
right?
And then 150 for a light version 1 and version 2, and then a Switch Lite is 100.
This poll is wild. 100% no.
Oh yeah, they tripping. They tripping.
Oh man, 100% is a nah. I'm good, bruh. So for myself, I as you all know, I've said it before. I wasn't buying it until I saw Fire Emblem. I still did put my name in on the pre-order thing just in case.
You got the 50
they
hours.
show a Fire Emblem. Yeah. I mean, I got like hundreds of hours of Fire Emblem 3 Houses by itself. In addition to, I played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and I played Fire Emblem Engage, and I played a couple of other games on there, like the Ace Detective.
Ace Detective. I forget what they call it.
Yeah, I played those games on there. So yeah, I got the hours.
Stuff, yeah.
So, but as of now, I'm a no because I don't see Fire Emblem. I know Fire Emblem's a smaller game, so they got apparently like 2 more live streams to do before the release on June 5th. If one of them pops up with, hey, and here's Fire Emblem, all right, I'm in. But more than likely they won't, so I'm not until I see Fire Emblem or Dust Bloods comes out in next year. That said, my daughter is on my neck. She wants a Switch. She wants her own Switch. She don't want her brother's Switch. She tired of fighting with him over that Switch. So I'm gonna have to just get her own Switch Lite. Cause what I was going to do was give her my Switch OLED when I got the Switch 2, if they have Fire Emblem, but they don't. And when I told her I wasn't getting one, she made a look on her face. She was like, "So I ain't getting that Switch OLED, huh?" So I was like, "All right, look, I got you."
Her,
so
just give it to her.
No, it's mine.
But you're not. It ain't nothing coming out that you want to play on it anytime soon, bro. Just give it to her.
True. But also,
by the time there's no game that's coming out that you want to play on.
Forte. This is the same daughter that broke her TV.
So you gonna punish her?
No, she breaks electronics.
I know my daughter. How old is she?
9.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
Never
she
Peyton.
breaks stuff, man.
Listen, Peyton broke a laptop. Listen, my youngest daughter, she's 13 now. She broke 2 iPads when she was like 7 and 8. She broke her first laptop. She stepped on it because she had it on the floor. I got it replaced, and I took it from her, and I didn't give it back to her till she was 11. And then we gave her a phone, and I didn't give her her own Switch in another tablet until she was 12, because when she turned 11, she went a whole entire year and a half without breaking her phone. And I was like, okay, you know how to take care of stuff. But no, I would no 9.
Yeah, my daughter ain't there yet.
No, 9. Bro.
She broke her laptop because she spilled water on it on the keyboard. She broke her TV because she got upset randomly for whatever reason and hit it with the screen with the remote. No. For the regular Switch OLED where the Joy-Cons detach off, I can already see the various ways she will break that. A Switch Lite though that doesn't have the Joy-Cons disconnect, and she hasn't broken her brother's yet. I'm gonna get her own turquoise or pink one, whichever color she wants. I'll just buy her own Switch Lite. Because I was going to give her the Switch OLED once I got the Switch 2, because I don't care. I'm not going to care no more after that. You know, if she break it, you ain't get another one. So, right. You know, I already told her that. But yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and just get her a Switch Lite that she won't actually break, and a case, and tell her, please put it back in the case when you're done with it, so you don't step on it and like break the joysticks or something. So,
right. Yeah,
she's just not quite yet responsible with electronics, you know, and so I'm just going to buy her a Switch Lite, so I ain't got to worry about it no more, because I'm not getting this Switch 2 anytime soon. So, let's go ahead and get into these outros, man. You know, it's getting kind of late. It's 11:30. Actually, not that late, because we typically go pretty late, but definitely didn't want to keep you guys for too long, and appreciate everybody for coming through. Appreciate the chat as well. Mr. Eric Jackson, where can I find you?
These days, you just find me on Blue Sky. That's pretty much where I'm at. No longer on X. So yeah,
good for you.
About it. Yeah. I was like, and I broke out like last year. I was like, you know what? I'm done with this Nazi platform. I'm out. I can't do that.
I'm good on this Nazi platform.
It's a bit ridiculous around here. So. And you know what kind of did it for me too is like people who I'd been cool with, or no, I should say known for like close to 13 years on there, really started showing who they were around election time. I was like, okay. Okay. So yeah, but no, you got me on Blue Sky, and hopefully, you know, I'll be back on here with you guys at some point. Definitely not podcasting as much as I used to, but I always have time to come kick it with you guys.
Appreciate it, bro.
And open door policy for you. Anytime you want to come through, you know, it's nothing. Okay, come
Appreciate
on through. Forte, what you got going on, man? Any videos you working on, anything like that?
Actually, I am working on the Switch reveal video. Now I have like 3 videos. We talked about a lot of stuff today, but I'm doing them in video form. One around the price point, one on the most anticipated games to get for your Switch 2 during launch window, and then one talking about the functionality of the game share function and stuff. So basically gonna be a heavy Switch week when it comes to that type of stuff. I'm getting people excited for that, but that's what's on the docket right now. I'm already
on
halfway
the DPS channel, right?
Yes,
where you haven't dropped the video in like a month.
Well, I haven't dropped the video on my own channel in a month and a half, so so you can't say that I've been neglecting this one to do stuff on my own. I haven't done.
No, you're just neglecting this one. You're just neglecting.
Okay, whatever. But no, those are all going to the DPS channel. But with that being said, it's great show, SloMo, and E is really happy to have you here, man. Missed you.
Thanks, bro.
Hope everything goes well with you. You know, you have a key to the house. We got your fingerprint on the garage door, so you can just walk in. I got bottled water, seltzers in the refrigerator. You know, you're more than welcome to that stuff, and we appreciate you coming through as always. And everybody else, enjoy your weekend. Get out early to get your Switch 2s. Don't be don't go in nobody's queue like Best Buy and think that they're gonna probably cancel your pre-order. Who knows? Just saying.
Hey,
If you, I would walk into somebody's store to get a Switch 2 this time. I wouldn't be trying to play the game of let me pay for it this way and you ship it to me, because I'm telling you with 100%. I see it all the time, every time. This system, especially with Nintendo releasing it in the middle of the year, they're doing it for a reason, because they know they're going to sell out of every last one that they sell. There will be no restocks to this system until Christmas. So if you don't get one day one, you're not going to see another one until October, November. And that's when they'll start restocking everybody again. I could be wrong, but that's usually how it goes when Nintendo restock, because they did the same thing with the first Switch. They released it early in March. We didn't see another restock until close to the end of the year. Don't put yourself in a situation, if you really want this to be getting fear of missing out, because you didn't get on top of it when you had the chance. So Wednesday next week is where you should try to get your. That's when you can start doing your pre-orders.
You could always go to the Black Air Force option.
Oh my God! Really?
I'm kidding. Don't do that. don't do the Black Air Force ski mask way. That's not the way. Okay.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But if you do just so happen to say, let's say you get it with Best Buy or Walmart or Target, and they have the option to send it to your house, don't do that. Do the option to send it to the store, and you will pick it up at the store. Because then you have protection in case someone tries to steal it. The store has to give you a copy. If somebody...
Wait,
this is what happens.
What'd you say?
The store got to get you your copy, or they'll give you your money back.
Of what?
The Switch. Too.
Why?
If you bought it from the store,
okay,
and you say, I'm gonna pick it up from the store. And then you get to the store and it's not there. Oh, you're getting your money back.
Oh, yeah, you get your money back.
Versus you get it delivered to your house.
Oh, okay.
And Mr. USPS guy poked a hole in the box and saw what it was. Now all of a sudden, I delivered it. You ain't get that? Yeah, it's delivered. You ain't getting the replacement Switch in that case. So Best Buy, Target, whatever, even if it's Amazon has like select store retailers in your area that they have drop off and pick up options with. There's a Kohl's in my area that does that for Amazon. Send it there. Because these thieves that work for FedEx and UPS and USPS, them thieves, they know there's a difference between sending it to Best Buy, where Best Buy know how much inventory they were supposed to get, and they see stuff missing, they're gonna give you your money back, so at least you get your money back, and then they're gonna go after the courier.
And Lord, do not do Walmart.
Yeah, probably don't want to do Walmart. Either, because then But I'm just saying, protect yourself, because this is going to be a high demand product in June, and there's going to be some angry people out there.
Yeah, what happened with the PS5 and Xboxes? How those went.
Yeah. This is what happens to me all the time. I order something. It doesn't matter if I ordered it off of Newegg, Amazon, Best Buy, Micro Center. You can pick it up there. But like, it doesn't matter which retailer I order it from. I see UPS is the delivery, or FedEx is the delivery, and then the last hop, to deliver to my house, they give it to USPS. And I'm just like, great, because I know how this is going to turn out.
It's like you're not delivered, but it's like it's not in front of my house.
Yeah. It's like there's nobody here. I've been at home all day. I work from home. How you talking about some delivered at 3:30 and I ain't got nothing? Like, nah, fam. No. So I'm just trying to help everybody so that you don't end up in those kind of situations. Or it is actually delivered, and then your neighbor comes by and picks it up off the front step. Like that kind of stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff going around. The economy's not great, and people do things. So protect yourself. That's all I'm saying. As far as games goes, I may stream something this weekend. We'll see what happens. We didn't hit the super chat goal for that, but no biggie. Maybe we'll get it next week. So there's no guarantee I gotta stream some nonsense game y'all want me to stream. Like I'll be trying to do me, but hey, I might stream something I actually want to play. So look out for that over the weekend. And I think that's it. Let's get up out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your night and enjoy your games, man. Peace.
Peace.